Floating. It's trying to. There we go. You. Oh, that's why it's not that one. Happy Friday Eve. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Eric on the tubes. You can't hear. I'm playing music before I get started this morning, but you guys can't hear it because you're not allowed to. Iron Patriot, no, I will tell my mods to go harder. Oh, Justin, we didn't sign up for this. You voted for it. You go sign up. I can give you the numbers if you need them. It's okay. It's all right, sweetheart. Hi, Dragon's Celt. Aww. Iron Patriot. Is my brother mod bothering you? Keep going. Cry harder. You guys are the biggest fucking bitches, man. Cry baby little bitches is all you are. Good morning or good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here on this Thursday. Thank you guys so much. I do love this state, Dawn. That's true. I absolutely do. Okay. add that one on here somewhere, actually, before we get into everything. And then we'll get started on this outline, guys. Hold on, sorry. I'll do my little intro and everything else. Just want to get this one added in. All right. All right, guys, good morning, good afternoon. I appreciate you guys being here. If you could do all of the good things, tap that screen, share the live out, do your daily heart me if you have not done so. I would appreciate it. We have the little roses up there. If we could get those set up, it would be great so that we could push ourselves onto that algorithm here on TikTok. Make sure that you guys are, doing all the good things here to support your content creators. I appreciate it. I have my 100 goal that I have every single day, guys. Remember, this is my job. I understand that times are tough, things are difficult, gas prices are on the fucking rise. Thanks, Donald Trump. Are we great yet? Are we winning yet? No. But I appreciate you guys. So 100 is my goal. My pay links are in my bio. That is Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. If you guys could contribute to that, that would be wonderful. See if we can knock that out. We have not knocked it out yet this week, so it would be wonderful if we could. Other than that, if you can't do those things, that's okay. Let's just support by doing all the other good things. And I would appreciate that. Guys, also remember I am multi-streaming, so I am over here on Twitch and YouTube. You can go over there. Follow and subscribe. There are memberships, there are subscriptions, super chats, all the fun things over there. It's way easier, especially YouTube. Once they start getting mad, super chats are the best way for me to be able to read your chats because they just be rolling through because they're angry. Apple, I do. If you keep talking, I'm not going to let you up though because it seems like you have no patience. So there's that. You're doing early lunch, Soroski? That sounds like a good idea. I looked at the markets today. I think they're going to look like that for a while, most likely. All right. I did. I just, I need to be able to get through my spiel. I just started. Did you vote for Trump? Okay. Can I get your age and what state you voted in, please? Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump? Sure, what about no new wars? Did he deliver on that? World War II. World War II. Sure. Are you going to go find sure, but sure. Are you going to go find a combat veteran and tell them that they didn't fight in a war in Afghanistan? Are you going to do that? Because I'm not going to do that. Okay. Uh-huh. Sure. You don't have to. Nobody's asking you to stand for what they stand for, but he lied to you when he said no new wars. He lied. Oh. So critique him for that, though. Critique him for the fact that he fucking lied and the fact that everybody else is pretzeling to defend this now. Mm-hmm. What promise did he come through for immigration? He's not. He's actually not. His numbers are actually way lower. We have mass detainment. We don't have mass deportation as of right now. Okay. How is it more secure? How do you measure that? Oh, where do we track border crossings? This is one of my favorites. Where do we track border crossings? Mm-hmm. There is a difference between encounters and crossings, so where do we track crossings? They don't track crossings. I've been there a million times. I showed it yesterday, a matter of fact. They don't track crossings. Oh, so don't say crossings. Let's talk about, you want to talk about encounters? Fine. Encounters have gone down. Why is that a good thing? Absolutely. Oh, do you think all encounters are illegal? Oh, do they just track illegal encounters? No, that's not what I asked you. So an encounter encompasses three separate things. What are they? Okay, since you don't know, it's going to be apprehensions, expulsions, and inadmissibles. So that's not necessarily illegal because these are people who were found and not necessarily let in, right? Okay. What is the title that our immigration law is under since you care so much about that part of it? No. Jesus Christ. Title 42 is what was used. We used MPP under Title 42 for our national health emergency that was happening during COVID at the time. That's not the title that our immigration law is under. The immigration law is under Title 8. So how would you know what is illegal if you don't know what Title 8 is? No, I don't need your spiel. Then sure, you're going to tell me what a lot of people tell me, which is totally fine and fair. You don't no, you are. You don't do this for a living. You have a job. Capitalism keeps you busy, which is absolutely fair. I am not critiquing you for the fact that you have a fucking life. I know that's what you're going to say, and that's totally fair. I'm not critiquing you on that. The critique I have is the fact that you come up into political spaces and you say things as if they are fact when you have not researched them, and then you blame the fact that you have a busy life for why you have not researched them. That's where I have a problem. Don't do that. For you, sure. Sure. Yeah. Dumb it down for you. Uh huh. Uh huh. No, that's encounters are different than crossings, and we don't track crossings. So go ahead. You can call them encounters. Encounters were high under Biden. You cannot correlate why that's bad or good. In America? In America? We don't track crossings. How would I know that? We know how many undocumented population is in the United States per DHS. Yeah. How many people do you think came in under Biden? Uh huh. Yeah, sure. It's not. Sure. You know what the current undocumented population is per DHS? 14 million total. So it has been 10 million since about 2020. So you do the math on that. About 4 million people came in. Okay. Unfortunately, they haven't done their numbers yet because 2025 just ended, and they usually do it in a block. So the numbers that we have were like 2013 through 2022, and then that was released. The report was released in 2024. Sure. From 16 to 20. So let me bring up the DHS undocumented because that's going to have his years on there. Let's see if I can find it. I usually have it saved, actually. Let me find it in my sources. Where are you? Immigration. Estimates of illegal alien population per DHS. Oh, 2018 through 2022. So perfect. Right at the start of his. What 20 so this is the report. Actually, put it on the screen actually. 2018, excuse me, to 2022, the report was released in 2024. They're very slow. They're very slow with their numbers, unfortunately. That's the way that is. So he wasn't president in 2016, so we have the lines. Sure. So we have the lines here for 2015 through 2018. Then you're going to have 2018 through 2020 of the unauthorized immigrant population estimates, correct? So here, this line for 2015 to 2018 was 11.4 million, and then it did go down into 2020 to 10.5 because of the deportation. So he had deported about less than a million people. Sure, sorry. So this gray line here is going to be 2015 to 2018, and this is 2018 to 2020. $20 million. So sorry, I said 11 million. There is estimates that it is about 14 million right now. I think that is from DHS through Pew Research, but again, it's a depends on where their measurement is. They haven't released the report, unfortunately. So, but their estimates are anywhere from 2 to 4 million total for Biden, which would include this section of data into here. If this is 11 million at in 2022, which is the last time that they had measurements that we know of, it stands to reason that yeah, we're probably at about 14 million right now. So again, if you take sure, like I said, so if you take 11.4 million, it started. The problem is they don't give me the damn charts here. I have to look. Let me look down further, but you can see it go from 11.4 million in 2015, and it starts spiking up, right? So somewhere in here, I'm not sure what year this is, and then you start to see it kind of go down. It stagnates. It jumps up, and then it starts going down again. So let's see if I can find, that's 2000, 2009, 2010, and later. I don't want that. Per country. Yeah, these are DHS's numbers. They need to organize it better. I could absolutely agree with that. This is by age group. No, no, I go by DHS's numbers, so no, I don't know that for a living. If you're going to if your point though, if your point is to say that more people came in under Biden than Trump's first term, abso-fucking-lutely, because of things like MPP or what you colloquially call remain in Mexico, where they were forced asylum seekers, legal asylum seekers, were forced to stay in Mexico, and then there was a flood of them coming in after MPP was removed by the Supreme Court. Absolutely, I could agree with you. Again, you are not telling me where that is a negative. Asylum seekers is a legal process. It's a legal process. Okay. Do you? Sure. A majority, but that's not illegal. That's not illegal. That is the process. No, that's the process. You're telling me exactly what the fucking process is. You come in, regardless of whether it's at a port of entry or not, because that's what the law that you don't know says, and then you apply for asylum. It actually takes years for you to finally be seen by a judge. And yes, a vast majority percentage of asylum cases are denied, but these people are not then staying in the country. It is on DHS to then put out a warrant of removal for them. It's not jumping the line. There's multiple lines. You only think that there's one line? There are multiple lines because there are multiple visas. So they're not jumping the line. Asylum is one line. K1, where you marry somebody from Russia, is another line. Like there are multiple lines. H1B visas, work visas. Those are all different lines. Nobody's jumping any line. What's the simple way? Then why are we deporting green card holders if it's so important then? It's not. We're deporting green card holders. There is no, like, he was supposed to be going after the worst of the worst. Now he's just going after everybody. They are a no. He said the worst of the worst. That's what he said. Tom Homan. It's not, yeah, an actual position, but sure. That's what they call him. He's just kind of working within DHS. Yeah, he said that. That's not what Trump said. Why the fuck do I care what Tom Homan said? He's not the fucking president. I care about what the president said. That doesn't... Sure, then Trump fucking lied again. Congratulations, Trump lied again. He said he campaigned on going after the worst of the worst. Yes, mass deportations for the worst of the worst, the criminals of this country, and that's not what we're seeing. Sure. Mm-hmm.
A personal experience with somebody I work with who was on a work
I
visa
don't care.
and it expired. And
I don't care.
I don't feel bad for him because he doesn't renew his citizenship. He doesn't get his citizenship. Those people should not be here.
According to what?
Law. Like, isn't
The
there?
law
You're
you
telling me
don't
there's
know.
not a
Read
law.
Title
So
8.
I'm asking.
W Jedi. Sorry, YouTube. I am so sorry about that. I apologize. I had that muted for the song and then I forgot to fix it. I apologize for that you couldn't hear him. Oh well, that happened. Guys, all right, real quick. Yes, YouTube, by the way, was complaining that the phone lines were off. The phone lines were off because there was a guest that you couldn't hear. That's why the phone lines were off. I saw this in all this before we started. I'm just gonna do a quick thing on it. We're not gonna sit here on it, but I will bring it up. Two injured, shooter dead at Old Dominion University. School says all classes have been canceled at Old Dominion University in Virginia after an active shooter was neutralized in the area, officials announced. Shortly before 10:49 a.m., a gunman in Constant Hall opened fire and injured two people, according to university spokesperson Jonah Grinkwitz. Campus police, the Norfolk Police Department, and emergency personnel responded, and the gunman is now dead, Grinkowitz said. The injured have been transported to a local hospital. Another day in America. But yeah, guys, keep doing all of the good things. I appreciate it. We are at 30,000 likes already. You guys are rocking it on those likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me get this set up. I'll bring up Work Wife. We can actually get started with the outline. I actually have stuff on immigration today. It'll make them really nice and angry. Love that for them.
That's actually where I went to get my bachelor's degree.
Ooh.
So when I heard that, I had to go and call my mom because where my mom lives is legitimately walking distance from ODU.
Yeah.
So, but she's fine. She was like, I hear more sirens than normal, but I think everything's fine. I'm like, oh, yes, Mom, that's what happens. Sorry, we were a little late.
That's all right.
I fixed everything and now I'm making everything look pretty.
Okay. So
it's like I grift for my life, Monica. It's crazy.
You got to do it. All right, we're going to start with this because Crow sent me it. I know he's been around. I'm going to make sure that we talk about it. So, from the Wall Street Journal, Veterans Affairs to advocate for legal guardianship for some vets. New initiative within the Justice Department aims to help veterans who can't make their own healthcare decisions. The Trump administration has moved to establish legal guardianship for some homeless veterans, which include involuntary or institutional mental health and drug addiction care, meaning against their will. Under an agreement announced Wednesday, the Justice Department can appoint Veteran Affairs attorneys as special assistant U.S. attorneys to act in state courts in cases where patients don't have family to step in. That will give them legal authority to initiate and participate in state court guardianship or conservatorship proceedings in cases where a legal decision maker is required, the Justice Department said. The VA said the guardianships may be needed for roughly 700 veterans stuck in the system. Conservatorships are legal arrangements where someone appointed by a judge takes responsibility over another person. The person appointed is usually a close family member. The new system would allow the VA to initiate and take part in the legal process. The concern here is going to be the fact that, one, you're taking away their autonomy, two, giving it to the government, who would then be in charge of their funds. So they're just robbing themselves, robbing Peter to pay Paul, but for themselves. So instead of giving veterans this money, it'll just go back into the coffers. That's what they would like to do. The change comes after President Trump last summer issued an executive order that called for an increase in hospitalizations, even if involuntary, to reduce homelessness and vagrancy, disorderly behavior, sudden confrontations, and violent attacks. In the U.S., critics of involuntary civil commitment programs argue they violate civil liberties and stigmatize mental illnesses. The VA denied any connection to the executive order. While some patients may be at risk of homelessness or may need ongoing hospitalization, the initiative would open the door for someone to authorize appropriate transitions of care from VA hospitalization to other forms of VA care or care in the community. Conservatorships are implemented for people who aren't able to manage their own affairs, oftentimes for elderly people. They sometimes involve young people, including those who are struggling with substance abuse or mental health issues. Perhaps most notably, pop stars Britney Spears was one run by her family for more than a decade. Now, I bring that up because didn't we fucking warn y'all? I swear to God, we fucking warned y'all, and you didn't want to talk about it, but we fucking did because he said it himself, right?
Our once great cities have become unlivable, unsanitary nightmares, surrendered to the homeless, the drug addicted, and the violent and dangerously deranged. We're making many suffer for the whims of a deeply unwell few, and they are unwell indeed. The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs. Americans should not have to step over piles of needles and waste as they walk down a street in a beautiful city, or at least once beautiful city, because they've changed so much over the last 10 years. Our first consideration should be the rights and safety of the hardworking, law-abiding citizens who make our society function. When I'm back in the White House, we will use every tool, lever, and authority to get the homeless off our streets. We want to take care of them.
Every tool, that tool being using the VA to create conservatorships over homeless veterans.
But they have to be off our streets. There is nothing compassionate about letting these individuals live in filth and squalor rather than getting them the help that they need. We need professionals to help them. For a small fraction of what we spend upon Ukraine, we could take care of every homeless veteran in America. Our veterans are being treated horribly. Likewise, with all of the money we will save by ending mass unskilled migration, we will have a huge dividend to address this crisis in our own country. Under my strategy, working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that.
Well, apparently he's just going to take away that option for them. He's going to take away that option by appointing conservatorships. That is what we're going to do now. So that's fun. Just so you guys know, I had it off while I could play that video. I'm going to have it off for a second because I do have a guest in the box. But if you're calling from an unknown number, you're always going to get a busy signal because I do not answer unknown numbers. Thank you. Grow big boy pants and call with your number. Jay, how are you today?
Fine, how you doing?
Doing well. Did you vote for Trump?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, well, I do appreciate you. I am only looking to speak to Trump supporters today and get through my outline. I doubt I'll get through it, but, you know, we try. We do try here. Okay. What did I want to start with, I guess? More Trump bullshit? We should probably do that. More Trump bullshit. All right. I apologize. A couple of these videos, again, him answering fucking questions near the goddamn helicopter. And I hate it so much, and I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry too. So people with auditory sensitivities, please be aware. Loud fucking propeller noises and static because of them asking him questions outside of the helicopter.
Very well with Rwanda and with Congo, and we hope they're going to get along.
They're in Arizona.
So they're going to ask specifically about the fact that not only have they now taken ballots from Georgia, they are now requesting to take ballots out of Maricopa County in Arizona.
Why did the FBI seize election records in that state?
Well, they probably thought the election was rigged, right?
It wasn't rigged, though.
Oh, really? How do you know?
Your own.
So he said, why did they take them? He said it was probably because they thought it was rigged. And she said it wasn't rigged, though. And he said, how do you know? And now she's going to talk about the fact that the attorney general at the time, if you guys don't remember, the attorney general at the time in 2020 was William Barr, who had said that there was nothing out of sorts in Maricopa County, specifically in Arizona. Maricopa County, I believe, recounted 5 times. So, no.
Attorney General in 2020 said that there was not measurable voter fraud to change the outcome of the election.
I think it was rigged.
There's no evidence.
He thinks it was rigged, so it doesn't matter, right?
Sir, where's the evidence of
It
that?
wasn't rigged. You're a rotten report.
Where's the evidence of that?
And he doesn't have the evidence. It has been fucking 6 years now, and he doesn't have the evidence. And so he's just going to call her a rotten reporter because he has nothing else, because there is no evidence. It has been to court over 60 times, and there is no evidence. So on that note, let's go to Senator Marshall. He is a Republican senator. He was speaking with Caitlin Collins, and they were talking about voting. I would love to see the evidence. If you guys magically have stuff his lawyers don't have, that's interesting.
Trust but verifying. We want to verify people's IDs when they send in mail-in ballots. What is the objection to it? What is the election about?
Oh, MDC, fuck you, you cucky little bitch. He said, watch the swearing. How about fuck you?
Well, they're saying that there's
making
no
ballots that there's no evidence of any non-citizens voting where it's swayed the outcome of an election. I mean, even the Heritage Foundation looked this up and said they only found 100 instances of non-citizen voter fraud since the year 2000.
And we covered this a couple weeks ago. We went over it. I went through, I can't remember which source it was for the first one, but I even used the Heritage Foundation, a super right-wing organization. I used their source. They have I linked it in my Discord for people to be able to look it up because I want you to be able to use it. It's a tool. The Heritage Foundation has a little fucking search tool where you can look up all instances of voter fraud. You can look up if it was prosecuted, if it was convicted, how it was charged. You can look up specifically if it was non-citizens. There are lovely little drop filters for you to be able to look all of this up. And like Caitlin Collins says, even the conservative right-wing Heritage Foundation says there has only been about 100 instances of it since the year 2000. Such a small amount. Now, again, voter fraud in any form, not good. Nobody here is fucking defending that. That voter fraud is bad. Find them, charge them, convict them. That's fucking great. Love to do that. I just am a personal believer. You're not going to ever be able to get rid of it 100%. Why? Because people are always sneaky. People will always try to be shitty. So it's not a problem, though. It's not affecting the outcomes of elections. You guys are just losing on your own. So sorry to tell you that.
That's out of 1 point.
Right, and they were caught. So the only thing you can give me is what you guys do with immigration, too, which is like, what about the ones that didn't get caught? The number I can make up in my head. I don't care about that.
0.5 billion ballots that were cast.
So what are you afraid of? What are Democrats afraid of?
I'm not a lawmaker voting on it. I think the question is,
but you're making the argument. You're making their argument, which is your job. But again, 70% of Democrats, 80% of Americans want voter ID. And if you want to...
Sure, that's true. About 80% of Americans would like to have some form of voter ID. That's a very small sample of a poll. We talk about polls all the fucking time, and I don't have any issue with that. The issue I have is that you're turning it into a poll tax, you're turning it into suppression. If you were giving out voter IDs to all eligible U.S. citizens who are available to vote for free, wouldn't have a problem with it. Go ahead, put that into legislation. I'd sign up on it. Not if you're going to force them to go through hoops and do things that are not easily affordable and easily available for most communities. That's where we have a problem.
If they want to debate some of these other issues about absentee ballots, about proof of citizenship, let's debate it. But have you heard one Democrat say, a Democrat senator say, I want voter ID, that I want to make sure that our elections have integrity, that it's so important? Instead, they just throw up their hands at everything. So why don't they come to the table, come across the table, across the aisle, and let's make our elections have more integrity?
Yeah.
So he had said that, was it that one he said it in? Let me see. I think it was that one. Yeah. Oh, no. That was what are Dems afraid of. So then this one, he's going to talk about supposedly a percentage that are concerned about voter integrity.
Do you think that elections...
But guys, while we were sitting here, you guys hit 80,000 likes already. It's only 10:30. I'm so fucking proud of you. You guys are killing it on the likes. We're going to hit 100,000 before the fucking hour's even up. You guys are doing amazing. Thank you guys so much for surpassing those like goals. Really, truly, truly awesome. I love it so much. You guys can't see it because I don't have my Tickfinity on. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not with it today. That's what's happening with me. Okay. There you go. See, look how well you guys are doing. Look at that bar fill up. I appreciate it. Guys, I still have 100 left in my goal. Let's try to work on that. There's 200 people here on TikTok. So if only 100 of you, if half of you sent $1, we'd be well on our way. If 50 of you sent $2, we would be on our way. So I would appreciate it if you guys could do that. The links for that are in my bio. Let's listen to Senator Marshall.
right now have integrity?
I do. I do. They're not.
So then why does this need to be passed?
But they're not perfect. I can tell you why. 60% of Americans have concerns about election integrity.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that figure. 60% of Americans have concerns about election integrity is what he said. Let's listen to that.
I don't think that...
Well, that's because the president spent 8 years...
You give the president too much credit
sometimes.
Sometimes you give the president too much credit. But regardless...
I think you would maybe disagree with that.
60% of Americans are concerned about election integrity. You know, one way I looked at this is you don't wait for a plane to crash to require pilots to get a license, right? So let's bring back more integrity. Let's trust but verify. If you have to get an ID to buy Sudafed, to get a hotel room tonight, don't you think that confirming an ID in an election has more value than those two things? So I don't think it's too much to ask to trust but verify.
Sure, we already do that. Rain Man, you got to be smarter than this. Rain Man says, I will say it again, the DMV gives illegal driver's licenses and IDs. When I asked why, they said it's not our job to investigate whether they are illegal or not. Our job is to give them ID. True. Here's the thing. You know why you want undocumented immigrants to have driver's licenses? So that they can have insurance. So that when they hit you, you're not fucked. You can actually go through the fucking insurance companies if and when they hit you. Now, what you probably don't know, because you asked them, sure, it's actually not their job to investigate whether they're legal or not. It's just their job to be able to say, do they have the documentation in order to get a driver's license? But what you don't know is that the states that offer it put it is not to be used for voting on the ID. Idiots. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hey, Peter, I heard you're doing a political stream.
That's a troll. Anyway, so they put not to be used for voting on the ID. Okay. So Senator Marshall said that 60% of Americans are concerned about the integrity of elections. I went looking for that yesterday when I saw it. I went looking for it all over. I'm like, what the fuck are we saying? What are we saying? This is the only thing I could find. And the best way to find it was an AOL. AOL is just like Yahoo News. They cite a separate news source. So they are citing The Hill here. And the only thing I could find in a way of 60% is when 60% say they're confident midterms will be counted fairly. This is like literally the only thing I can find. Trust in the accuracy and integrity of elections is declining, that's true, among U.S. voters amid concerns over mid-decade redistricting attempts and the potential that ICE officers could be present at the polls in November, according to new research from the UC San Diego Center for Transparent and Trusted Elections. A survey of more than 11,000 eligible voters found that trust in elections among Democrats, Republicans, and independents has fallen sharply since the 2024 presidential election, with only 60% of Americans now saying they are confident. But what that means is that it's the opposite of actually what he's saying. He's saying 60% are concerned. This says 60% are confident that their votes are counted accurately. So it's literally the fucking opposite of what he said. What? Independents had the lowest rate of trust at 57%, still the majority, followed by Democrats and Republicans at 64% and 65% respectively. Researchers noted that the overall 60% figure represented a 17-point decline from where trust stood following the most recent presidential election, and that each political party experienced a double-digit drop. Now that I'm not shocked by, which is exactly what Caitlin Collins said to Senator Marshall, right? Which is that you have had one particular president sowing distrust since, I don't know if you guys remember, since about 2015. In 2015, when he had started saying he might run, and then in 2016, when he really announced, right, golden escalator and all of that, he started campaigning on the idea that he was not going to accept the results if Hillary Clinton won. This is something he has been doing for 10 fucking years now in regards to him campaigning. So for 10 years, you have this one man who is just sowing distrust and distrust and distrust into our election systems, right? On top of that, I will say, you do have Democrats talking about how other countries are interfering in our elections, like Russia. You guys don't understand what that means. What we're saying is that Russia, it was proven that Russia had botted Facebook accounts and botted Twitter accounts so that they could promote propaganda to try and get Trump elected. Now, did that have any significant effect on him winning in 2016? No. That's what they found. No. He won. That was it. It was the facts. The people in 2016 voted for Donald Trump and they wanted him. Per the Electoral College. We're not talking about the popular vote in 2016. But in 2016, he won fairly per the Electoral College. But Russia did interfere with the election. They have interfered with the elections after that with their botted accounts on Facebook and Twitter. That is true. But again, the whole point here is that Senator Marshall lied. He said that 60% of Americans are concerned about election integrity. That's not true. 60% of Americans are saying they're confident. Now, is that lower than it was previously? Yes. But that's not what he said. So I have that, and I have the actual, because I always do, have the actual study that they cited, which is the U.S. San Diego School of Social Sciences Center for Transport and Trusted Elections. Trust in American elections has declined since 2024. Broad concerns about ICE at polling places in 2026. And it is about 6 pages. I will post it in my Discord in my live outline like I always do every single day. So here's this. Confidence in the national vote count registered 70% on the eve of the 2024 presidential election, rose to 77% in the days shortly after that contest, but has fallen to 60% over the year since then. The large partisan divide over trust in elections that was present before President Trump's victory closed just after it, and now trust among all political groups have been declining in parallel. Okay? Yeah. Where do you get your stats? John, it's right here, sweetie. Right here. Do you see? It's okay. It's right here. U.S. San Diego School of Social Sciences. This is a study that they ran. Okay? All right. Republican respondents voiced particular distrust about mail ballots, 50%. I'm shocked. Why do they have distrust about mail ballots? Oh, because their fucking president keeps sowing distrust about mail-in ballots. And whether non-citizens will be prevented from casting ballots, 51%. Democrats, 51%, and independents, 48%, do not trust that congressional district lines are drawn in a way that fairly reflects what voters want, compared to 34% of Republicans, right? So Democrats and independents are worried about the fact that there's been redistricting. Texas started that fight. California's damn sure gonna fucking finish it. W, you guys! I'm so fucking proud of you. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for hitting 100,000 likes while we're sitting here. I do appreciate it so much. Thomas, if you would like to pay for me to get green hair and a piercing, I have always wanted a little nose piercing. I really want to do this one, but that one sounds like it hurts. So I'd rather do this one. The pay links are in my bio for that. We can get that done. That would be great.
Matching piercings?
Huh?
Can we get matching piercings?
Yes. But then they said, where's my green hair? I wouldn't do green personally. I'm looking at like a bright pink. I would love to do a bright pink. That would be great.
We can counteract. You can go bright pink, I'll go purple.
Yes.
I
Thank you
love
for
that.
calling this. Oh, okay. Call and hang up.
Well,
Sure.
they were bad that we were talking about hair care. No one tell Manny I want to dye my hair. No, I'm kidding.
I did have 2 kids, Kayla, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Looking toward the 2026 midterm elections, 44% of Democrats, 34% of independents, and 30% of Republicans say they think it's likely that Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers will be present at voting locations in your area. So, again, you can read through this study. It's not good that trust in the elections has been declining, but the point is that Senator Marshall, a Republican fucking senator, lied. He fucking lied. Why do you let them lie to you? Why are you okay with them lying to you? I will never understand it. Why did it not spell his name right? Interesting. Okay. I've got one more on voting, and then we'll move on back to the Trumper, unfortunately. So Mark Elias has been somebody, he is a attorney, okay? And he has been going after... Well, Trump's going after him, but he has been going after Trump. And he oversaw the state-by-state response to lawsuits filed by the Trump administration contesting the 2020 election. So Mark Elias was the one fighting back on those cases I told you about that Trump fucking lost, the over 60 cases that Trump fucking lost. Mark Elias was there. He was the one saying, where's this fucking evidence? And then Trump was like, we'll get it. Never got it. 6 years later, here we are. Of the 64 cases, he won all but one minor case, which was later overturned in his favor. So all 64 cases, Mark Elias fucking won. We'll get to him in a minute. You're always in the chat.
They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political...
Cool. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so... Mark Elias is the one who's been kicking the shit can out of the Trump big lie, okay? So here's Mark Elias again telling us about why specifically we should be concerned that they have been taking the ballots in Georgia and why we should be concerned about them trying to take the ballots in Arizona, because it's not about the fact that they're going to be able to prove anything, because they're not. They're not going to be able to prove anything different than what we already know, which is nothing, that he lost. But he's setting up what he has always been setting up, which is just for you guys because you're gullible to believe a lie. So here's Mark Elias with that.
They have election material from Maricopa County for...
Also, Justin, congratulations. You have just earned the block. Congratulations.
2 reasons. And I think people need to internalize that both of these things are true. Okay. Number one, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, and he is on a vindictive campaign to go after anyone who says that...
We the People says that's because the judge was in your pocket. You think that all 64 cases were the same judge? Sure. When Trump wins, it's because he wins. When Trump loses, it's because it was liberal judges. You guys are the snowflake biggest bitches in the world. Keep glazing his taint. He doesn't give a fuck about you, but he likes eye contact when you suck him off. Just want you to know that.
That he lost it, right? So they are getting the data in Fulton County and in Maricopa County to continue to spread the big lie about the outcome of the 2020 election and to criminally prosecute anyone who possibly can who has told the truth. That is one reason. But there is a second
like it, not that, Justin. Different Justin.
Reason that is independently important, and that is it is a dry run for 2026. Every time they engage in these tactics, they learn something about the logistics of seizing ballots. And that's no small thing. I mean, in Fulton County, remember, they went and got a search warrant, and then it turns out their search warrant was wrong because it targeted the wrong facility or the wrong place.
Eric, show me the proof that people were caught cheating. You guys you didn't do anything, Justin, you're fine. You guys keep saying that there's proof, that you supposedly have proof that apparently the Trump administration and his lawyers don't have. That's interesting. Maybe you should give them a call because apparently you figured it out. You cracked the case.
Well, in the process of fixing that, they learned something about how you seize ballots in Fulton County. When you saw the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, on an evidence truck, it was alarming because Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. She was on an evidence truck. But what you saw were boxes of ballots, and they learned a lot about how many trucks you need to get all the ballots, how the boxes need to be stacked. Are they pre-boxed in the facility, or do you need to bring boxes? And the same thing is happening here. So it is both a way of vilifying people over the 2020 election and being vindictive there, but it is also critically a dry run for what they expect to be prepared for and want to be prepared for in 2026. They have election.
Now, why is that? Well, because it doesn't look good. If you look at betting markets, which I hate betting markets, but it is a way to look at things. If you look at betting markets, they're not doing well. They are most likely, for sure now, we're over 80%, I think, that they're going to lose the House. The Senate has always been up for debate, but it's okay. I'm going to disappoint everybody. I'm so sorry. I think our poor baby boy needs sleep. Our Red Bull cherub polling golden retriever looks tired. He's not as energetic in this clip as he usually is, and he's grown out a beard. Our poor baby needs another Red Bull, maybe a nap. But here he is to talk about the fact that you guys are getting close to probably losing the Senate now, too. And so that is, again, the reason why Mark Elias is bringing up what they're doing in way of Fulton County and in way of Maricopa County in Arizona is because he is setting it up for another lie on the midterms. Because you guys are going to lose the midterms, and you guys are going to lose the midterms hard. You're going to lose it very, very hard. And he's not going to be able to accept that. Why? Because he can't accept a loss. He can't accept that maybe there are things we need to work on to do better. So he's going to cry the same lie that he's been doing since 2020. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Illinois, 33, Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
There's a lot of reasons I still support Trump.
Sure, let's name one and we can talk about it.
That you were just making real quick before I called in. I really do appreciate you guys bringing up the stuff with the Senate and the House and things like that.
Sure.
So that we don't get comfortable and think that it's just all in the bag and we don't turn out to vote. We really need you guys to keep lighting the fire up under us and keep telling us how we might lose the House and the Senate. So I appreciate you guys constantly spreading that message.
Yeah, it's working. So in 2025, you guys lost 20% or flipped, I'm sorry. Yeah, so you guys lost 20% of your seats in 2025. And most recently in New Hampshire, you guys Democrats just flipped a seat that was a plus 13 for Trump. So yeah, even with the fact that we're talking about it, you guys still aren't winning. The problem is that you're actually losing Republicans on your side too. They're either just choosing not to vote or they're actually voting Democratic.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm glad that you're talking about because that's something we need
you guys
to
are still going to keep losing.
That's something that we need more information about it. I mean, hey, that's what everybody says until it's all said and done, right? It's a long road. It's not just today or tomorrow. You know, this is a 4-year journey. We're not going to get this next round of voting in until next year. So let's just keep going down that road. It's all good.
When are the midterms? Do you know?
2027.
Yep. I'm clipping that.
friendly reminder, your midterm election is November 2027.
But if you are on the left and you vote Democratic, please don't listen to that. But it's for Republicans specifically. Republicans specifically have a special time that they vote in the midterms, and it is in 2027. So yeah, that's good.
God, they're stupid!
Anyway, so sorry. Here is low energy Harry Enton with a beard. I think our poor baby boy needs a nap.
You know, I took a look at all the polling, averaged it all together, and we have now reached the year mark. We have now reached the year mark in which he has a negative net approval rating. So we have been talking about this for a long period of time. According to my average of polls, what we've been looking at is every day since March 12th, 2025, President Trump has been underwater, and we've been counting up the days. We've shown this slide a number of times, and we have now reached the point in which Trump has been swimming with the fishes for...
Dan says we love the 2027 3/4 term.
a year.
So not so happy anniversary.
No.
So
unlike ours working together.
Look at our poor baby.
I know.
So tired.
Love.
Underwater overall, but really bad with one voting group.
Yeah, really bad with one voting group. John, you know, we have spoken about this independence. The center of the electorate. We have been talking about how Trump has been just downright awful with them. And I decided we're going to look back and compare it to other presidents this century at this point in their second term, compare it to George Bush, compare it to Barack Obama, and look at that. 38 points underwater at this point. That is worse than Obama by 20 points. That is worse than George W. Bush by double digits. And of course, George W. Bush's second term went way off
Katrina, Iraq, ultimately the Great Recession as well. So that is not a comparison.
No, you don't like that.
Why? I mean, what don't independents like?
What don't independents like? What don't the overall electorate like? Are you focusing on the...
Soroski, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you because time zones are woke. So Eastern Standard or Central Standard 2027, I'll have to get back to you on that. I'll have to look.
right issues? Are you focusing on what people actually care about? And if you look right now, you look at a Fox News poll that recently came out, look at this, say the Trump admin is focused on the wrong things. 60% overall say that the Trump administration is focused on the wrong things. Look at that. 78% of independents say that the Trump administration is focused on the wrong things. I mean, how does that work? How does that work politically, John? I don't understand how that works, especially if those numbers hold to the midterm elections. That's a big freaking problem.
Well, it may not be working as you look forward to the midterm elections. So how have predictions changed about whether or not Democrats can take back Congress?
Yeah, okay. So, look, we've been talking about the House and pretty much every historical market. All the prediction markets, all the polling indicates that the Democrats are in the catbird seat when it comes back to taking back the House. But how about combining it with the United States Senate? That is taking back the whole enchilada, taking back all of Congress. And what we see is the Democrats' chance of doing that has been rising on a stairway to heaven, my dear friend.
Oh my God, Joe, you guys do this every single time. CNN, what a joke. Yes, it's the commie news network. It's the clown news network. He is citing polling. The polling that he just cited for independents saying that 78% of independents think that Donald Trump is focused on the wrong thing. Guess what? He sources it. And it was Fox News for that poll specifically. I actually played it from Fox News yesterday, the day before that. So again, you guys are so fucking brainwashed that you can't see past CNN and actually look at the sources that he's pulling. That was a Fox News poll. If you can find me a Fox News poll where he is above water, or not a Fox News poll, any poll, find me any poll where he is above water on any subject, or let alone his general approval, I would love to see it. I ask you every single day. To find me a poll where he is doing well. And you can't find it. Polls are wrong. We learned this. That's not necessarily true. The polling for him to win in 2016 was correct. The polling for him to lose in 2020 was correct. Now, there was polling that said he was going to lose in 2024, but also, to be fair, Kamala's numbers in polling were not good near November of 2024.
Nope.
And she lost. So that makes sense. They both weren't doing great because the options just weren't great. That's just kind of where it was. But find me, and 2024 was still in the margin of error. So it makes sense. You guys also don't understand polling. You don't understand margins of errors. You don't understand this thing. So we're going to get back to Harry Enten as he finishes this clip up. His source, again, this is not about CNN. This is about his polling and what he's sourcing. So now we're sourcing, again, what I said, which is the betting markets. The betting markets, unfortunately, have a huge impact on our stock market. They have a huge impact on our politics now. It's shitty, but it is the way it is. So this is going to be Kalshi market. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about that independent polling, which was done by Fox News, of 78% of independents. That's bad. Do you want to know why that's bad? Because neither Democrats nor Republicans win without independents. Cry harder.
And what we see there is that Democrats at this particular point have been increasing those odds. It's not yet at 50%, but it is clearly rising. And that is something that I think is quite shocking, because a lot of folks like myself thought the Democrats would take back the House. But the idea of taking back the Senate as well, that is a pretty big deal.
Stairway to Heaven, always the best last song for any junior high dance. Harry Enten, thank you very much.
How old are you? You don't play Stairway to Heaven at dances anymore.
We did.
That's because you're white. Then you are dying. That's not what we played in our schools, okay? I am very white. We were sweaty as a motherfucker when we left our fucking dances. We didn't play Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, actually, I'll add this in. I had a clip of her, but I didn't put it in here, but I'll keep the article.
Might be in that what I sent you. I don't know. I'm looking for the clip.
Probably. But I have stuff on immigration, so we'll see if we can get to that today.
Till the sweat drips down my bone. Sorry.
All these bitches crawl.
Skeet, skeet.
Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Trump. How you doing?
I'm good. Can I get your age and state, please?
So I'm calling from Nevada. I'm 39.
Cool.
My name is Mike.
Why are you still supporting Trump, Mike?
Because he's helping Israel defeat the enemies and.
Oh,
the fact
you're a
that he
Zionist?
supports Israel. Yeah, I think.
All right, so
They always do stupid shit like that.
Trump is going to be asked again about the, we're getting preliminary reporting coming out of the DOD that, yes, it was the U.S. that struck the school. And so he's going to be asked again. This is about the third or fourth time he's going to be asked about it for what he's going to say. Yes, I want Swan Money, Jedi, but I don't talk to Zionists. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I looked at Jill Stein, mistake, but my age is 28, and I don't really want to tell you my state. Is it okay?
Is it a swing state or no? That's really the reason I ask.
It's not a swing state.
Okay, cool.
It's pretty heavily blue.
Nope, you're
okay,
fine.
So, awesome. Appreciate that. You asked people if they support Trump, right?
Mm-hmm. And really why?
Okay, so,
really why they are.
Okay, so I think that the future is the word support's a little bit it's hard to say if that's an accurate word, but I would say that I think Trump was a better candidate, even though I didn't personally vote for him. Again, I voted for Joe Stein, but I think that he's a better candidate than Kamala. And this
Kamala.
is strictly
Sure. So I'm going to stop you though. It's not just you. There are other people who do this too. I don't care. That's why I ask, why are you still supporting Trump? Because they can give me all the reasons why they didn't like an educated, qualified black woman. I don't give a fuck about that. He won. So if you're still supporting him now after the fact that none of his policies have been beneficial, that's why I want to know.
Well, I can give you.
I don't care. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, Trump is good for Israel. We need.
And you called from your work number. Why do you guys do that? Anyway, I'm going to turn it off for a second so I can play this clip since y'all want to just fuck around. If you guys want to have real conversations based off of factual evidence and not your fees, we can do that. Yeah, Jedi, trust me, I need the money. This is my job. I need the money, guys. Speaking of that, I'm going to grift. 100 is still in my goal. Nobody has touched it yet today. I've been on for an hour. It would be wonderful if we could start working on that goal. This is my job. This is how I pay my bills. So I need you guys to help me out with that. I do want gifts. I do want you guys to be able to do swan kicks, but there are people, I just don't talk to stupidity and I don't talk to conversations that I know aren't going to lead anywhere. Sometimes I talk to stupidity for too long, but those clips are kind of funny. But, you know, so I don't talk to Zionists. I don't talk to bigots. So it's just something we don't do. Anyway.
Also, people's mental health matters, by the way, guys.
Let's see if we can get an answer from Donald Trump this time. Because remember, Donald Trump has been the only one to say that Iran somehow used a Tomahawk missile to strike its own school. The preliminary reporting about the DOD is saying, no, it was us. And so now he said in response to that, when he was asked at a press conference, he said, I don't know enough about it. So now let's see what his answer is to that.
Report shows a new report says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As commander-in-chief, you take responsibility for that.
That is what?
As commander-in-chief, do you...
For what?
For the strike on the school in Iran. A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about it.
Are you supposed to help you respond to that?
I don't know about it. So now they told him to shut up. Stop saying that it was Iran who did it, because there's no evidence of that when the DOD is saying that it's not. They told him to shut the fuck up. That's what they told him. Okay. So Donald Trump is going to be asked, because he, again, called it an excursion, what we're doing in Iran. And the thing is, calling it an excursion is a short, brief trip that's usually for leisure. So that's a problem, to be calling it like a leisurely trip. That's weird. We shouldn't be doing that, right? So he's going to be asked, like, is it, what did he say? You said it was a war, but it's also an excursion. Which one is it?
Questions, Peter?
Yes. You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's an excursion that...
It's an excursionary war. It's both.
Will keep us out of a war. And the war is going to be, for them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought. Questions, Peter?
Yes.
Turned out to be easier than we thought. I was listening to Steve this morning, and he brought up a great point that I didn't think about. Thank God other people have brilliant minds as well. Thank you, Steve. I think he means the word incursion, not excursion. So we're gonna we did the definition of excursion yesterday. So let's do the definition of incursion today. An incursion is an invasion, attack, especially a sudden or brief one. So I think since he wants to say that it's meant to be short, it's not going to be some long-lasting, years-long Middle East war, according to him, because like he has any control over that. I think he means incursion, and he keeps saying excursion because he's a fucking idiot. I'm capping that the fact that I just played a video of him saying excursion. He passes his intelligence test. Yeah, he aced them. Dolphins look like giraffes.
I love my camel horse.
You passed. Brilliant. Okay. So yeah, Steve brought that up. Thank you, Steve, for that. I absolutely think he meant incursion, but he's stupid.
We love Steve in this household.
So then here we get to, I have clips later too for some of it. Not a lot of clips from it, but he was in Kentucky. He's doing his economy tour, right? That he's trying to convince y'all. He's doing the Joe Biden, except Joe Biden just did it in interviews. Donald Trump's actually going out there and doing it. And he's going to try and convince you. He's basically campaigning. He's going to try. Whoa.
Why?
Who did that? Manny did
it. Who moved me?
Manny did it. Manuel.
Manny's here.
Is he? Stop it. He's going to try and convince you guys that what you're feeling is not what you're feeling. So that's what he's doing his tour on. Oh, pretty. I see why he did that. He sent you shooting stars. So pretty.
I love you.
You guys are cute. Stop being gross. I hate it. Anyway, but he's going to talk about the Iran nuclear deal. It's the JCPOA that Obama had gotten us into with Iran and that he got us out of. And he's going to talk about that. But he's going to say something that I find interesting, and I wish you guys would find me some proof for this fucking statement.
Stupid was that? But that deal, the Iran nuclear deal, gave them the right to have a nuclear weapon as of...
Huh?
What?
Can somebody point to me point to me on the JCPOA doll where it hurt Trump, but then two, find within the JCPOA where it allowed them to have nuclear weapons. Can you find it? Thanks, Manny. But specifically because of the fact that the JCPOA was actually a monitoring service to make sure that they didn't have access to a nuclear weapon. So if you guys could find that for me, if Donald Trump could find that for me, that would be fucking great. But then the second part of what he says actually is true.
3 years ago, if I didn't terminate that deal, I terminated it very quickly. If I didn't terminate that deal, they would have had nuclear weapons, and this world would right now be a different place.
The world would be a different place. Maybe we actually wouldn't be at fucking war with them because we would still have oversight through the IAEA over what the fuck they were doing. All you've done is incentivize them to keep doing what they were doing, but to put it underground. That's all you've done. You think they're going to stop now? All you've done is proven that even though they agreed to do negotiations with you, they sit down at tables in Geneva and in Oman, and they sit down and do negotiation deals with you, that even though they're sitting down trying to do those deals, you'll still fucking bomb them. That's all you've done. Is they go, shit, even when we agree to do deals, they're fucking bombing us. So even more so now, we need a nuclear weapon, so you leave us the fuck alone. And that is not to defend the Iranian regime. Again, you guys in your duopoly, two things can be true at the same time. I can say that the regime is not good, but totally understand their motives, that even if we're doing peace talks, you fucking bomb us. Yeah, I'm going to want a big weapon, so you leave me alone. So now you've just incentivized them to continue that program, but without oversight, underground. Great job, Trump. We're really fucking winning. All right. Going to Chris Wright. We talked about Chris Wright, the Secretary of Energy yesterday, who had posted a tweet saying that a ship had gone through the strait and then gas prices fell. As soon as he had said that and tweeted it, gas prices fell. He deleted that tweet, and Caroline Leavitt in the press conference confirmed that that was not true. Gas prices went up again. So he's going to be asked about the fact that that tweet happened. They've been blaming it on a staffer. He pretty much is going to do that same thing, but take accountability for it, that it won't happen again.
Question for you is, there was the X post the other day that came from the
Squirt told me to shut yup. Cool.
Department of Energy that talked about a ship safely going through the Strait of Hormuz. That wasn't true. It caused a lot of market disruption. People lost some money. That tweet was deleted. As the Secretary of Energy, what have you done to make sure that that doesn't happen again? Are you going to personally approve those posts?
Yes, I will. And yeah, that is a miscommunication in our department. I take full ownership of that as the person in charge of the department. Very unfortunate. It will not happen again.
Secretary Chris Wright, thanks for being on the show.
You fucked up. You fucked up and you manipulated the markets. That's what happened. You done fucked up. But Donald Trump says it's fine. He's going to encourage oil company CEOs to push through and put their ships through the strait. I'm sorry, I know my keyboard's loud. It's not my keyboard. It's my brother's mechanical keyboard, and I love it so much. The sound makes my brain go, yay! But I apologize that it's that loud.
You talk to the CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use the Strait.
Thank you, Joseph, for sending out a membership over on YouTube. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. Guys, say thank you.
Yeah, I think they should.
Thank
I think they should use my opinion, look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone at the bottom of the sea.
So he says they're at the bottom of the sea. They're taking care of the mines, so you should be fine. You should be fine. Thank you to... What's this? Thank you. Oh my God, why don't you load when I need you to load? I apologize. I repeat myself so much. I say a lot. I say appreciate a lot. I say thank you a lot. But that's never a bad thing to say thank you. XM, thank you for the 1001. Because you hate even numbers. Also, fuck Trump, obviously. Yeah, I totally hate even numbers. XM, thanks. Thanks for the change that I have to do. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Terrell, thank you for the $1 thanks for keeping me up to date while I'm at work. Absolutely. You are very, very welcome. Juicy Juice Godfrey, thank you for the 10 on the green for a free kick. Thank you. I'll make sure I'm going to write that down.
Woo! W gifters, guys, make sure we keep doing that as we are tapping here. Hey, Tube, I know you don't like it when I say this, but I believe every single one of you Trump supporters over on the Tube just don't have the balls to call because you guys are so intimidated by women on the internet. I mean, you've shown me every single time I've gone live, so I think you guys should prove me wrong. And I bet if you guys were to halfway complete Monica's goal or complete it fully, I will completely drop off. Terms and conditions may apply.
I was going to say terms and conditions may apply because big W's to Daryl with the 50 on the green app for the good fight. With the, I love it. I take it as Rosie the Riveter because, you know, I am a feminist, which they love. So it's okay. I can do math. Hold on.
W Daryl for the 5. Look at you go. Thank you. Guys, if we complete her goal before the end of the time, I mean, I'm going to go live regardless, but it's more incentive because I want to play with it. I made it look so pretty. You're going to be so proud of me.
Still decimal points because XM hates me. Here, I'll show you guys. There's a decimal points for you.
Guys, you can knock out this 28 so quickly. $28.99. That is what, like a Netflix subscription, I think.
They're going to wait, I knew what's coming on. She said half to drop. That's why I told her, I was like, did you see my finger go up? She's like, if you guys hit the goal by half, I was like, shut up.
Well, you know what? I did keep my promise. Terms and conditions did apply.
Audie just likes the feeling of dropping.
You know what? That's fine. I will always be the drop goat.
Drop goat? Like a scapegoat?
Yeah.
My God. Which is interesting that he says that they should go through the strait because here is an Iranian official through the military. Yes, and he is speaking in Arabic. So I apologize after you're not going to be able to understand him, but he is saying that not one ship's going to pass through. Be prepared for 200.
Daryl said he'll match whatever the next gift is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine. Thank you, Daryl, by the way. Is be prepared for $200 price per barrel.
البته پرقدرت تکرار می‌کنیم. هرگز اجازه نمی‌دهیم حتی 1 لیتر نفت.
I'm sorry, Trumpers, I know this is going to be difficult for you. Not only is it a language that fucking sets off your Islamophobia and your bigotry, but you have to read. So you have to read the subtitles to understand what he's saying, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you have to read. You might not be able to read it. I'll reiterate it when he's done.
نفع آمریکا و صهیونیست‌ها و شرکای آنها از تنگه هرمز عبور کند و هر شناوری که شناور و یا محموله نفتی آن برای آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی و شرکای متخاصم آنها باشد هدف مشروع ما خواهد بود.
Is that Farsi, Michelle? Then I apologize. I apologize if I am not good about other languages, so I do apologize if that is Farsi and not Arabic. Thank you guys so much for the correction. I will absolutely take correction. He is speaking Farsi. I apologize.
راهبرد پنهان شدن شما پشت کشورهای همسایه ایران اسلامی و مسلمان منطقه غرب آسیا و بلکه جهان منقضی شده است. ترفند پنهان شدن ارتش بزدل شما در اماکن عمومی و زیرساختهای کشورهای منطقه نمیتواند ارتش شما را از باطلاقی که در آن گرفتار شده اید نجات دهد و مراکز حیاتی و پایگاه‌هایتان یکی پس از دیگری در آتشی که شعله‌ور کردید می‌سوزد و دوباره خواهد سوخت. خون رهبر شهیدمان و قائد عظیم الشأن امت اسلامی را خط بطلانی بر هر گونه انفعال می‌دانیم. سیاست ضربه متقابل از سوی ما پایان یافته و سیاست ضربه پشت ضربه را تا تنبیه و پشیمانی کامل شما پیش رو داریم. یک بار هم که شده صادق باشید، قهرمان نمایی نکنید و به شکست خود در طول تاریخ آمریکا و از زمان بسته شدن نطفه نحس رژیم صهیونیستی اعتراف کنید و به زبان غلط کردن خود را تلفظ کنید. بارها به حضور ناوهایتان در آبهای منطقه اشاره کردید. یک بار هم که کمی جلو آمدید با قدرت موشکی ایران عقب نشینی کردید. از روز اول تجاوز شما انتظار آنها را میکشیم تا به شما ثابت کنیم که ارتش بزدل شما کوچکتر از آن است که روی آن حساب میکنید. شما باید بدانید که نخواهید توانست قیمت نفت و انرژی را با تنفس مصنوعی پایین بیاورید که با گسترش جنگ در منطقه اعلام کردیم منتظر بشکه‌ای $200 باشید، چون قیمت نفت تابع امنیت در منطقه است که منشأ ناامنی شما هستید. و البته
So, they're not going to let 1 liter of oil through, and we should be prepared for 200. They're just going to keep attacking ships in the strait.
Am I the only person who likes the sound of when other languages are spoken?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I don't. It's not. Is it Arabic? Is that what
he's speaking? Farsi. I was wrong. He is speaking Farsi. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know when I hear other, like, especially those that are in Eastern hemispheres, I love how they sound.
And like my husband said, he has a fantastic beard. He does. The trim job that he's got. Trim job is a terrible word. I shouldn't have said that.
Clip it. Clip it.
It looks good. It looks good. That's all. I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna move on. Shut up.
Clip it. Clip it now.
All of you. Thank you, Trademark. You didn't put that it was Trademark, but I remember now by now. Trademark, thank you for the $2.99. My OCD can't handle the change. Thank you for that. That makes it an even 26. But unfortunately, the problem with that is that Tanner hates us. Because Tanner is the biggest op on TikTok. Tanner, it's good to
fuck Tanner.
Good to see you. Gave me $6.70 for our his favorite 6-7 crew. 6-7. So now I have to do more fucking decimal point math. Thank you, Tanner.
Fuck Tanner.
1930.
1 rose and I'll ban Tanner. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we'll shut up about the trim job. I can't.
I'm making things thicker.
All right. So he says that not one will go down. Not one ship will get through, regardless of what Donald Trump says, right? Which, I mean, we're seeing. Let's look at our trusty little trading economics chart for crude oil prices per barrel. We are up again. So this is where we went down after Chris Wright's tweet, right? And we started going back up again, and here we are sitting at $95 a barrel. So prices are just going to keep going up. Thank you, Scarlett, for the jewels over on YouTube. I appreciate you. I see Eclipse this year saying that Eli is bullying you in the Twitch chat. Fight back. Do you want me to get Lenati over there with a chancla? I can.
She would too. Bye, Justin. Bye, Justin.
So there was this thing that happened in 2022 because I'm running. Supply chains were an issue in 2022 because of COVID, right? I don't blame any president for what happened during COVID. The supply chains, the entire world's supply chains were fucked. That's just what happened. And because of that, it was a national emergency. The prices were way too fucking high. People couldn't afford the gas prices in 2022. It was way too fucking high. So they released the reserves. The reserves are for emergencies. It's not just for, I will show you the cope that Fox News and the Republicans are now doing, which is that it's just for the Middle East. It's not. It is for national emergencies. We had a national emergency, and that was the fact that our supply lanes were fucked. So we released reserves, which you guys hated. You guys hated that Biden released reserves. Well, I have bad fucking news for you. Hold on, I have to check what's going on here. What's happening? Daryl sent 6-7 for a match. 6-7, matching the 6-7. Thank you so much.
I hate all of you.
So much for that. As a mom of 2 elementary school students, we do love that. That brings us to 12-6. 6-7.
I am so glad I never dealt with school-age kids.
And oh my God, what is happening? I have to go to my thing.
Also, while you're in there, if you guys aren't in Monica's Discord, what the fuck are you guys doing? Links are in the Bible. I almost said Bible.
Chicky, Chicky, thank you for the $2 for the trim job fund. I appreciate.
Speaking of trim job, if you are not in the Discord, why the fuck aren't you there? Links are in the bio. Guys, guess what I made?
In sight. That erection.
For my trim job fund. And then L, thank you for the 20 over on the Blue app. Guys, that completes the goal. You fucking knocked it out of the park. I hate y'all for the dollars and cents, but I do love y'all for catching me in all of my bullshit that comes out of my mouth. I'm so sorry.
Yay!
W, you guys. The goal. You guys knocked out fucking goals today, and we're already almost at 200,000 likes, and it's only 11:20 mountain time.
We're having a good old time.
We are having a good time today. What did Olive do?
No one touched mine at all.
Correct.
So links are in the bio. Friendly reminder, I still don't have the green app. I do not have Cash App, but I have the blue and PalPay. Oh God, not Eli made already a sound.
What did he do? Or is it just the clip of my voice?
The trim job that he's got?
Yeah. Did we play it at the exact same time?
Probably. Why? I didn't tell you to turn on. Okay. But anyway, for you baby back bitches who are crying about Biden using the fucking oil reserves during a goddamn national emergency of our supply chains, I have bad fucking news for you. You should critique Trump too, right? International Energy Agency announces largest ever release of reserve oil amid Iran war. The 32-nation group will release 400 million barrels of oil from its reserve. The International Energy Agency on Wednesday said it would release 400 million barrels of oil from its strategic reserve, marking the largest oil release in the group's history as the global economy grapples with fallout from the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Granted, this is going to be international. This is going to be multiple countries, not just the U.S. Biden was the U.S. reserve specifically. But because oil prices are going up, they are going to release reserve. Oil prices soared after the outbreak of war as traders feared a prolonged blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a trading route that facilitates the transport of about 1/5 of the global oil supply. Before the war, roughly 20 million barrels of oil passed through the strait each day, but tanker traffic has now all but stopped, Faith Baral, executive director of the IEA, said at a press conference on Wednesday. The conflict in the Middle East is having significant impacts on global oil and gas markets. We are releasing 172. Thank you, Ari. So of the 400 million being released, the United States is releasing 172 million barrels specifically. I wonder if it said that in here. U.S. crude oil prices hovered at about $86 per barrel on Wednesday, which marked a 35% increase from a month earlier. Still, oil prices remained well below a peak of $119 a barrel reached on Monday. I was trying to see if it said in here what the military one, but thank you, Ari, for that. What are you guys doing? You're being bad. Okay. Which, it's just interesting. So now they're going to have cope. Fox News is going to cope about it. So here we go.
We're gonna cope. It's our moment.
Awesome. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat over on YouTube. Keep drawing maggot tears. The GOP should go out like Gnome's dog. Well, midterms are coming. Thank you, Ari. I would love that. Make sure, Republicans, that you are voting in 2027. Leftists, we know that we are not supposed to vote in 2027. That's just for them. That's special for them. It's not for us. I'm so sorry. Because they're better than that. They vote in 2027 for their midterms. So, yeah. So here's Fox coping with the fact that they have to go back on all the bullshit that they talked on Biden. They're still going to try and throw him under the bus because Donald Trump and this U.S. government is going to do the same thing and dip into reserves. Why? Because prices are way too high.
All right, David Asman, as always, thank you for your expertise. We appreciate it. Now, as we mentioned, President Trump said today he is planning to release oil from the strategic reserve, and that's exactly what the reserve is meant for, to respond to a temporary shortage brought on by extraordinary events. But
like after COVID, right? Right? That's what you're going to say, right, Hannity? That's what you just said it. Okay.
But to Joe Biden, it was a political tool used to bring down gas prices. Ahead of the midterms in 2022.
What year is the midterms this year? For Republicans, it's 2027. What is it for the rest of us?
2026.
Oh, so Joe Biden used it in 2022 specifically to lower gas prices for the midterms. But that's not what Donald Trump's doing for these midterms?
And then, even worse,
I'm going to go back to that clip. I'm not done with it. I do want to bring up this source that, thank you, Ari. This is from Bloomberg. U.S. to release 172 million barrels for IEA plan to tap reserves. The Trump administration plans to release 172 million barrels from the U.S. emergency oil reserve as part of the coordinated effort by nations around the world to ease surging crude and gasoline prices amid the Iran war. The release, announced in a statement by Energy Secretary Chris Wright, will take about 120 days to fully deliver. The oil will come from the U.S. Department's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's part of the plan by member nations of the International Energy Agency to discharge a total 400 million barrels from reserves. So, us, ourselves, yay! Sorry, guys. I know I sound crazy when I stop in the middle of this. You guys tapping. You guys are fucking, I don't even know what to do with it today. You guys are fucking amazing today. Like, I really don't know what to do with y'all. You guys are really just knocking it out of the fucking park. Let's make sure we're supporting my work wife in the same way, please. Let's make sure we're getting her goal covered. I appreciate it. She only has 5-0 in her goal. I know that we can knock that down with the amount of support that we have in this fucking community. And you guys, your tapping muscles are just fucking doing amazing over on TikTok. I fucking appreciate it so much. Oh my God, what is happening? I've got, Jason, did you let me know if you want that back, Jason, because we did knock out the goal already, so I can absolutely send that back to you. I don't have a problem doing that at all, since that came in after the fact that the goal was completed and it was to complete. You sending that to me was to complete the goal specifically, but the goal was already completed, so I don't want to keep that from you if that's the case. But thank you, Jedi, for the swan pie, for the 3.14 on the PalPay for the swan pie. Thank you so much as well for that. All right, we'll get back to this clip with Hannity because he says some more things that we're going to fucking debunk because, you know, they have to cope. This is their cope. You're all set, Jason. So W guys, W Jasons and W Jedis in the chat. I want to see W Jasons and W Jedis. Jason sent 1060 to complete the goal that we did get completed. And then we had the Jedi send the swan pie, the 3.14. So now Hannity is going to try to throw Biden under the bus because, again, they're coping with the fact that Donald Trump is going to dip into the reserves the same way that Biden did. So here's that.
He never replenished the oil that he took, and he left it really, really at historic lows. Biden wanted U.S., you know, by the way, he wanted all of you driving an electric vehicle.
So, yes, Democratic policy and progression, we need to move away from oil. Obviously, we need to move away from oil if shutting down one particular fucking strait can fuck up the entire global oil supply being such a fucking issue. Yeah, we should probably start looking into other ways. By the way, the companies that invest the most into green technologies are actually oil companies. Don't know if you know that, which is interesting. So let's go back. Let's go, the Energy Department has lovely information from us. I do love that. Thank you. The U.S. Department of Energy, an official site. Biden-Harris administration makes final purchase for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, secures 200 million barrels at a good deal for the American taxpayer. Let me come up here. The U.S. Department of Energy today, this was in November 8th of 2024, the U.S. Department of Energy today announced that 200 million barrels of crude oil have been delivered, contracted at a good deal for taxpayers, an average price of $74.75 a barrel, following the closure of the most recent solicitation to acquire 2.4 million barrels of crude oil for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. This aggressive buyback strategy has resulted in the purchase of 20 million barrels more than the 180 million barrels sold under the emergency declaration authorized by President Biden in 2022. Oh, but I thought Hannity said that he didn't replenish what he used. If we used 180 million barrels, but we replenished to the point of 200 million barrels, what sense does that make? So Hannity lied. To date, Department of Energy has directly purchased 59 million barrels of oil for the SPR at an average price of under $76 per barrel. This is about $20 per barrel lower than the $95 per barrel average sales price for 2022's emergency sales, which means that we bought it back cheaper than we sold it. We made money. In addition, DOE secured 140 million barrels by working with Congress to cancel mandated sales between fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 26 at approximately $74 a barrel. Together, this brings the total oil purchased or retained in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve since 2022 to nearly 200 million barrels. So Hannity lied to y'all, and you guys like it that they lied. Don't cherry pick. Content matters. You mean context? What context? The fact that Hannity lied? What is being cherry picked right now? But it's fine. We'll go to, let's do the same Department of Energy now with the This is going to be in November of 2025. So a year later, the Energy Department awards contracts to begin refilling the strategic reserve. President Trump promised to refill the SPR and rebuild American strategic strength. Now remember, the last that we saw was November. They had 200 million barrels in the SPR. Currently, the SPR holds just over 400 million barrels out of its capacity. So the capacity is about 700 million barrels. As of 2025, it had 400. But again, they lied about the fact that he didn't replenish it. The SPR was severely weakened by the previous administration's reckless 180 million barrel drawdown in 2022, which incurred nearly $280 million in costs. That's not true. Delayed critical infrastructure maintenance and put unprecedented wear and tear on storage and injection facilities. It's not true. But he's gonna use 172 million barrels. So it's fine. It's fine. Keep coping. Because Biden did that to lower your gas prices in 2022 because 2022 was the height. That's the month and the year that you all lived and died in, which is the highest rate that we had of inflation at the time, 9% in June of 2022. We had really high gas prices in 2022. Why? Because of the supply chain being blocked because of COVID. So I don't blame him for dipping into the reserves to lower the gas prices for my family and your family. I don't even blame Donald Trump for tapping into the reserves now. I don't. I blame him for why we're in Iran. I blame him for why the gas prices are high right now. But I don't blame him for dipping into the reserves. However, stop coping. Because guess what? That's what they're there for. CNN did some reporting. I know. Oh no. God, CNN, Commie News Network, Clown News Network. We're not going to listen to anything he says now because it's CNN. Is going to talk about the cost to families in way of gas now. They go away. Oh, I have to bring it up so you guys can see it. Cindy, also because of the OPEC deal Donald Trump did. Yeah, so the supply chain fucked it, and there was also the OPEC plus 2020 deal that Trump did. Now, here's the thing. This is what I say about the OPEC plus 2020 deal. A deal needed to be made. Gas prices were so low at the height of the shutdown during 2020 under Trump's first term, because people obviously weren't driving. You only had, essential workers driving. And so gas prices were just low because nobody was filling up and buying gas. So what he did is he talked to OPEC about doing a deal. Hey, if you drill 10 million barrels less than you usually do on the daily, this will help bring costs up to a sustainable amount so the economy has money flooding into it, because our economy is not doing well with the lack of gas money flowing into it. Your corporations aren't doing well with money lacking. Absolutely, Cindy. That's exactly what I was going to say. He did it for 2 years. I think he maybe should have done 6 to 8 months. Maybe do a 6 to 8 month deal, or do 6 months, see where you're at, come to the table again and see if you need to extend that deal or come back. The fact that he did it for 2 years so they were producing 10 million barrels less for 2 years is a problem. I don't critique him on making the deal. I critique how long the deal was. Do you see how that works, Republicans? I know you guys don't know how to do that, where you can critique a president and actually give him accolades. I don't blame Donald Trump for the OPEC plus 2020 deal. I blame for the length. The deal needed to be done. The length was too long. All right. This is the reporting on cost to families with the increase in the gas prices.
There's one way to look at it, and this is from Mark Zandi, who we've had on a lot from Moody's, who says that oil prices, when they rise $10, that gives you and your household $450 more to pay over the course of the year. So if oil is sustained at a $10 increase, that's $450 more. So that would mean if we stay at this $90 range that we're at right now, oil was $60 before, you're looking at a $1,300 increase for you and your family. Now
again, it's not CNN, it's not the reporter. Look at the sources. This is how this works, guys. I know you guys don't like this. I say, the phone lines have been open this whole time. When I have conversations based off of factual evidence and not your feelings. I want to see the stats and facts that you believe so vehemently. You believe these things. What are you basing them off of? Just what they tell you? That's silly. I thought you didn't trust the government. I thought we didn't trust what they say. So you have to source, right? We're sourcing Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics. Okay, we're sourcing Moody's. This is what they do. So this is the estimated cost to Americans if the prices stay this high. Right now, when I last checked, babe, you said almost 96. Yeah, it was at 95 when we just looked.
SPR release that you just mentioned, that could help. But remember, the last time that we did this in 2022, about half...
Tamara, are you okay? Tamara says, I bet you probably think AI has a soul. No. Why would I think that? The AI that we have now is not art. You guys need to understand what AI is, first of all. The AI that we currently use is not artificial intelligence, okay? It's not independently intelligent. It is long-form language models. That's it. It's just pattern recognition of what humans put into it. Wow.
Half as much. Gas prices only fell around 17 cents over the course of 4 months. So you double that, we might be looking at, over the course of 4 months, you know, maybe we shave 40 cents off the cost of a gallon of gas. That's still not going to help all that much, especially if oil stays at this rate.
Now, that's the part I wanted you guys to listen to, which is he's talking about releasing from the reserves, and he's even mentioning what happened under the reserves with Biden.
Our release that you just mentioned, that...
Oh, sorry, I'll go back here so you can hear him.
Right now, oil was $60 before. You're looking at a $1,300 increase for you and your family. Now, this SPR release that you just mentioned, that could help. But remember, the last time that we did this in 2022, about half as much. Gas prices only fell around 17 cents over the course of 4 months. So you double that, we might be looking at, over the course of 4 months, you know, maybe we shave 40 cents off the cost of a gallon of gas. That's still not going to help all that much, especially if oil stays at this rate.
If it stays at this rate or goes higher. Releasing the reserves might bring it down a little bit to ease some pain. It won't stay that way, and it won't be that much pain that it does. It just won't. Stuff it off. What is stuff it off? Did somebody say stuff it off? I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I love
Tommy. Tommy, how are you today?
That you.
Why do you? He always does that. Why do you come up with your fucking kid on there? Okay. Let's go back to this. We're gonna, oh no, it's CNN again, but guess what? It's fine. They have a Republican on here. I don't think he's a congressman. He's just a Republican, what do you call it? Commentator. Pundit, probably. Pundit is probably the word I'm looking for. And he's gonna come up and lie also about gas prices.
Appreciate that we don't know what is going to happen in the weeks to come, but he is asking American service members to sacrifice, and also Americans throughout this country to pay more for his war.
The 50 cents a gallon is still, yes, that increase, that's not great. Here's
the thing, like we saw this yesterday with the caller I literally had yesterday, who was like, 50 cents, it's not that much. I'm sorry, what? Since when is a 50-cent increase not that much? If you get a 50-cent raise, that shit, like, bangs the buck when you get your check. So what the fuck do you mean 50 cents is not a big deal? But let's hear him lie some more.
Yes, that increase, that's not great. It's still well below where it was at the end of Biden's term.
It's well below where it was at the end of Biden's term. We'll get into that. Camping, I guess. So all of my work wife and my husband, I'm single again. I'm going to be single forever. I got told it's
not
true.
on my watch.
It's true because they said it.
No, it wasn't. No, it's not. No, we were down.
In October of
Not the end of Biden's term. The height of Biden's term.
So he said, again, October of 2022, because that's where you guys lived and died, which was not the end of Biden's term. We'll get into that again. He said, still well lower than the end of Biden's term. Did Biden leave office in 2022 and I missed it? No. So there's a chance, Chicky. Blue is not in here, right? I hope Blue's not in here.
This was a choice that was made.
Yes,
after
the Ukraine war
after Russia's
created,
invasion of Ukraine,
yes,
it went up to $130.
Yes,
But let me just. But can I also say, you mentioned the export of natural gas. I'm so grateful.
Appreciate.
All right, so he said 50 cents still well below. Yes, he did. We just went over that. Dab, we just went over how Biden filled the reserves. Literally in November of 2024, they acquired 200 million barrels of oil, so it did refill what he used. We just went over that, honey. If you need to go back a little bit, go back. So let's go to the average gas prices. We're going to do over the course of 10 years, because that's going to be the best way. Right? Yeah, okay. Gas prices hit a high average of $5, okay? $5 a gallon in June of 2022, the year that you guys lived and died on. But that's not when Biden left. And he said 50 cents higher as it is now was still lower than when Biden left. I usually do December. I don't count January in the transition between Biden or Trump. I kind of leave January out, to be honest, because it's like half the month was Biden's, half the month is Trump. It's kind of hard to gauge. So we will do December. What's the last December date we have? December of, go back. Okay, December 30th. There you go. You guys see that? December 30th of 2024. That is when, right before Biden would have left, because we're going to ignore January because it's like a half month and a half month. It's kind of hard to gauge. But even if we did January, we can in a second. $3 a gallon. Let's see if we can find, okay, January 20th. That's perfect. Right when Joe Biden left. The day Joe Biden left. We can include January. I lied. January 20th of 2025 is when Joe Biden left. It was $3.10 a gallon. It has gone up. The average is $3.50. Where's the well below? Where's the well below? Well below when Biden left. So he lied to you again. Why do you guys just accept the lies? I get it. You don't like Biden. You don't have to like him. Nobody gives a fuck. Jay, you can call in. Jay Giannis, you can call in. If my whole argument is a lie, I'm literally showing you the facts to back it up. Yeah, Sorosky, I have stuff on that too. If he left and it was $3.10 and it's $3.50 now, which number's higher? Let's do some basic math that my fucking children can do. By the way, my daughter, we had parent-teacher conferences yesterday. Thank you guys, by the way, for the donations. We were able to get them 2 books each. My daughter got 2 graphic novels. My son got 2 books about Pokemon because he loves Pokemon. And my daughter got a 100% on her math assessment. And my son got 86% on his math assessment. So my kids are rocking that math. You guys should probably catch up.
The horse's name was Friday.
The horse's name was Friday. Just shouting facts into eBay. I just thought of like Christmas Story. It's like the Lone Ranger's nephew's horse. They called and then hung up on themselves, I guess. That's what they wanted to do. All right, so Sorosky brought it up. Here it is. Thank you, Sorosky. Right into the pivot.
Oh, no.
Soaring fuel prices to cast long shadow across U.S. economy. Industries from farming to airlines face long-term higher costs and will raise customer prices in response. What?
Hey.
Yeah.
Check live chat. Now.
A different one?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Let's bring this up.
Sorry.
I'm going to I'll go back to the outline, but we'll do breaking news. But, we can't sit here and report on it because we don't know what we don't know, but we'll report on it right at the start. Thank you, Olive, for the breaking news. Police respond to a report of an active shooter at a Detroit area synagogue. Police are responding to reports of an active shooter at a synagogue outside Detroit where smoke is billowing from the roof. WDIV-TV reports that a truck crashed into the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan on Thursday. Footage from the scene shows dozens of police vehicles surrounding... Why? Shut up. Why did it do that? Go back. Shows dozens of police vehicles surrounding the building. FBI Director Kash Patel said agents are on the scene of an apparent vehicle ramming an active shooter situation. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office said authorities are clearing the building. About a dozen parents sprinted to get their children from an early childhood learning center inside the building after getting approval from the police.
Oh, no.
Temple Israel calls itself the nation's largest Reform synagogue with 12,000 members, according to its website. It has an early childhood education center and offers educational programs for families and adults. The website says the synagogue is passionate about helping Jewish communities across the globe and that its mission is to create a community building through the lens of Reform Judaism. The Jewish Federation of Detroit advised all Jewish organizations in the area to go into lockout protocol, nobody in or out of your building. So that is what we have going on right now. I hope that everybody is okay. I hope they catch this person who did this, and I hope that God, I hope nobody gets hurt, but if so, I hope it's not
not a baby.
Yeah, I hope it's not mass events. It's fucking, when are we going to fix the fucking gun problem in this country?
We won't, because Trump supporters think that a gun's going to make them stronger when it's not.
But, my God. So we will keep an eye on that in our Discord chats. You know that we will. Guys, make sure you are keeping up if you have people that you know in that area of Michigan who do go to that synagogue or live around that area. Please make sure that they are safe and doing well. I would appreciate it. All right. Sorry to pivot back. It's from something super serious to this, but it's being reported. The U.S. Energy Department has warned petrol and diesel prices are unlikely to recede to pre-war levels until mid-2027 at the earliest, ratcheting up costs for industries from trucking and farming to airlines and retailers. Official figures released on Tuesday show U.S. petrol prices rose 19% over the, I don't like how they wrote that, 19% over the past 2 weeks to $3.50 a gallon as the Middle East conflict throttled energy supplies, while diesel jumped 28% to $4.86 a gallon. Petrol is not forecast to drop back below its $2.94 per gallon pre-conflict level before the end of 2027, according to the Energy Information Administration, the EIA, the Energy Department statistics arm. Diesel, the lifeblood of American industry, will not fall below the $3.81 per gallon it sat at 2 weeks ago until the middle of next year. The shift threatens to push up costs for industry, which in turn will ratchet up prices for consumers with far-reaching inflationary impacts for the world's largest global economy. It will also pile pressure on Donald Trump, who campaigned for the presidency in 2024 on a platform to slash petrol and energy costs. Prices at the pump are now higher than at any time during his 2 terms in office. So don't expect prices to go down anytime soon. What you got for me? What's that? EIA.gov/outlook/steo. Short-term energy outlook. Is that what I'm looking at, Soroski? So this is the EIA. This is the statistics arm of the U.S. Department of Energy. This is what the Financial Times was citing. Forecast overview. Oh, crude oil forecast. I see what you're talking about right here. So this is directly from them instead of just being reported on. I appreciate that. Thank you, Soroski. We forecast the Brent crude oil price will remain above $95 a barrel over the next 2 months before falling below $80 a barrel in the third quarter of 2026 and around $70 per barrel by the end of the year. We expect prices to average $64 a barrel in 2027. This price forecast is highly dependent on our modeled assumptions of both the duration of conflict in the Middle East and resulting outages in oil production. Oops, didn't mean to go that way. So, not good. Notable forecast changes. Here you go. It's not till 2027. That's from the government. That is from the government. That prices are not going to go down. You guys can talk about the little podunk towns you live in. Gas prices are going up. That's just what's happening. But then it's fine because Donald Trump truthed this. The United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money. Yay, CEOs. Yay, billionaires. Yay, corporations. Donald Trump is applauding them for doing the thing. Love that. Love that for them. But of far greater interest and importance to me as president is stopping, because he can't spell, stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons and destroying the Middle East and indeed the world. I won't ever let that happen. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Well, at least the oil execs are making money, right? Yep. Love that. Love that for them. Great job, Trump. Well, let's talk to the actual people who it affects too, right? Not just about how it affects, but let's talk to the people it affects. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Oh, this is Bruce, 71. I voted for Kamala Harris. I've never voted. I've been voting since 1972. I've never voted for a Republican and never will.
Well, I do appreciate you, Bruce. I am looking to speak to Trump supporters, but if you wanted to say something real quick, you absolutely can.
Sure. Well, I just want to know these people have no moral compass. Talking about Republicans. I like I said, I've been politically involved since I was in first grade. Nixon, Kennedy. That's how old I am. And I mean, Republicans have always been awful, but nothing like this modern day Republican Party. These people are. It's truly. My mind is just blown. These people are just assholes. I'm sorry.
No, it's
They're
true. They
fascist,
absolutely are.
Nazi-loving pieces of human excrement.
Well,
And it just pisses me off that my twilight of my life, I have to go through this crap.
Yeah.
And my kids and my grandkids and your generation, I mean, the good people of this country have to, under the thumb of this piece of shit.
I agree with you. Do you plan to vote in your midterms? I would assume so if you were so
I have
politically
never
active.
missed a vote in my life.
I love that.
I live in California. I do not miss votes.
I'm so
drive a
proud
truck,
of
so
you
I
for
blow
being
by-
an informed voter, and I know that that's not saying much because everybody should be, but being an informed voter is
Oh, I
rare
know.
these days. So
I got a brother-in-law who's just a mega moron. He's just, you can't. These people, you just can't reason with them.
Nope.
Because 2 + 2 to them is 5. Because their leader told them.
that's true. Well, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a
Yeah.
wonderful day. Thank you for calling in, Bruce.
All right, thanks.
W. Bruce. All right. Somebody in the YouTube chat, by the way, just told me, how about driving less, which is crazy. Just drive less. It won't cost as much in your car if you just drive less. Wild. Well, let's talk to the farmers about diesel prices, shall we?
And this has to be filled up every single day during planting
You guys can't yell about this one. This is Fox. Fox, what are you going to say about Fox?
season, which is literally starts either this week or next week, depending on the crop they're trying to grow. That shakes out to more than $820 per day on this one tractor.
On diesel, we probably burn about 500 gallons a day in planting season.
Planting season simply wouldn't be possible without diesel fuel. And with energy prices surging ever since the U.S. started striking Iran, farmers like Will Hutchinson say the timing couldn't be worse.
It's kind of caught us off guard a little bit.
About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz off Iran's coast, and the Iranian regime has been threatening to attack any vessel that tries to cross. And this has to be filled up every single day during planting season, which is literally starts either this week or next week, depending on the crop they're trying to grow. That shakes out to more than $820 per day on this one tractor.
On diesel, we probably burn about 500 gallons a day in planting season.
Planting season simply wouldn't be possible without diesel fuel. And with energy
Bert, I have a clip on fertilizer right after this.
prices surging ever since the U.S. started striking Iran, farmers like Will Hutchinson say the timing couldn't be worse.
It's kind of caught us off guard a little bit.
About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz off Iran's coast, and the Iranian regime has been threatening to attack any vessel that tries to cross. And this has to be filled up every single...
Okay. So that was diesel prices hurting our farmers that he said he was going to help, right? He was going to help them. Well, how else is it hurting them? Bert brought it up already. Fertilizer.
There's been some predictions that fertilizer will go up another $100 a ton on top of losing money as it is. So it's really sad that the farming has got to the point where we're losing money to even be doing it. And then with things going on like it is, there's so much uncertainty.
We're used to dealing with markets going up and down, but when we see such a large increase in such a short span of time is what really makes it harder to deal with.
We have a lot on the line from day to day, and at nighttime sometimes it can be hard to sleep.
A lot of guys have just said, I'm done. We're going to quit. They're hanging it up. There's sales everywhere. Lots and lots of farm sales. Financially, it's causing a lot of mental health problems as well.
Yeah. So diesel prices are up for farmers, which is what they use. They also use it to transport our goods across the country to us. And also fertilizer prices are up because of this war, with no sign that it's really going to be stopping. Just Monty Cook is in the chat again. Thank you. Hi, hubby. My Just Monty Cook, my enabler, is here in the chat. And he says, planting season is here and stop growing commodity crops. It fucks you over every single time. But the government likes it that way. And that's the government. All right, we're going to pivot back to some war stuff because, again, I brought it up yesterday. I keep bringing it up, which is the fact that they keep saying that we obliterated their nuclear facilities in 2025 in July, but we also have to stop them from having nuclear capabilities. It just doesn't make any sense. So we're going to get to Fetterman, the true dino, and he's going to explain to us why they said obliterated.
But have we eliminated nuclear threat? I mean, 9 months ago, President Trump said we obliterated the nuclear threat by bombing it, and now we're back bombing
that
again.
Was really,
I mean,
that was semantics.
That was semantics. It was semantics that we obliterated it, which is interesting because I remember, I'm sure Olive remembers, that in July, after Olive took a nap, which caused us to bomb Iran, you guys can thank Olive for that. After that happened, we were talking about the fact that we bombed Iran, and Donald Trump was saying we obliterated it, but Tulsi Gabbard said we didn't. And then Tulsi Gabbard got in trouble and then came out and agreed with the president that it was obliterated. And you guys fought with us for months about the fact that we were like, there's not proof from our own intelligence that it was obliterated. And you're like, it was obliterated. It was fucking obliterated. How dare you say that? Donald Trump said it was obliterated. It was obliterated. And yet now you guys are arguing the opposite side of that to say it was not obliterated, which is why we now have to go in again. You are on both sides of the argument every single time because you have to twist yourself into so many motherfucking pretzels to be able to glaze Trump's taint. And I know you didn't stretch before you did that. I know you fucking didn't. But I remember it. I'm sure me and Olive can find the clips from it where you guys were yelling at us about the fact that it was obliterated and how dare we say it wasn't. But now, according to Fetterman and the Republicans, that was just semantics. It was not obliterated.
I think a lot of more people getting to disagree on that with that.
Olive was framed as crazy. Random citizen.
And there was, kinds of conflicting kinds of reports on it, and that still made that there. And they also had the kinds of missiles that could theoretically even reach our nation. So now,
theoretically, they have the. He just said they have the type of missiles that could theoretically reach our nation. No, they don't. Not even in theory. They do not have ICBMs. If you guys, what is an ICBM? Do you guys even know? Intercontinental ballistic missile. They don't have those. They can't reach us. Fetterman's lying to you again.
Well, not yet. Sure. That would have been many, many years, according to most intelligence and military experts. It would have taken them many more years. But you're right. They were trying to get them, and that's not good. But have we eliminated nuclear threat? I mean...
Sorry, she starts repeating it. So did we eliminate the threat or not? I would like to know. Donald Trump getting asked before he went to Kentucky about whether, how we know we'll be done. When do we see the end of this war? How do we know when we're done?
What is it, Peter? What more do you need to do militarily for this operation to end? More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force.
More of the same. So just more bombing? Just more bombing. That's how we'll know the war has ended? Just a continuation of what's going on right now, which is bombing?
They have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all. They have no radar. Their leaders are gone. And we could do a lot worse to one another. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
So now he's threatening them with not being able to rebuild their country back at all. He's saying the leaders are gone, which also isn't true because, oh, well, look at this. You're going to ask him, who's in charge now?
Can you declare victory in this war if the supreme leader remains the Ayatollah's son? I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to comment. But I will tell you, I just spoke with...
If the leadership is gone, how come they just chose the former Ayatollah's son to lead?
Various countries, the leaders of various countries, you'll have a list.
and they said they've never seen anything like it. We have, and I built it during my first term, and I used it.
The strongest military.
I didn't realize I was going to use it this much, but we have the greatest military in the world by far. Nobody close.
Let me see. All right. So there's that. Then he went to Kentucky. Or no, this was from this morning, I think, actually. I think this was from this morning, where he said that we won.
We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good.
Oh, we'll get to him saying we won in a second. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, it's going to be Chris.
Get your age, state, and who you voted for, please.
Oh, I apologize.
No,
Chris.
you're fine.
State New York and Donald Trump.
Okay, and how old are you? I'm sorry.
38.
38. All right. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Because he represents what America, what I believe in my worldview, what America is about.
Which is what?
Being able to come to a country that is safe and be able to make a living for you and your family.
What is he doing to ensure that for Americans?
His stance on illegal immigration.
Oh, but you just said about coming here and making the best out of your life. Isn't that what immigrants are doing?
Yeah, but through the legal process.
What's the title what's the title that our immigration law is under?
I don't know. You tell me. You seem extremely...
Sure, you should read it. It's Title 8, but capitalism got you. Title 8. W Jedi for the Swan.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
You don't care about immigrants because you don't know the law. You don't actually care. You don't fucking care. You don't care. No. Capitalism got you. You're done for today. Stop calling. Okay. Donald Trump's going to say we won, guys. We won.
Very good shape. The main thing is we have to win this thing, win it quickly, but win it. And there are many people, I'm just watching some of the news. Most people say it's already been won.
Most people say it's already been won. Who's most people? Can we cite most people who have said it's been won? Who's most people? Probably Mia. Most people.
It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We don't want to let it regrow. And ideally, would like to see somebody in there that knows what they're doing. In other words, they can build a country. We're just...
Yes, mission accomplished with Bush. All he's missing is the fucking banner behind him. That's all he's missing. But again, oh, that's what I meant. I meant to find these ones. Look. Look at that. We won. It's over. It's over. Meanwhile, in the Strait, it's fine. Everything's fine. Jim, I do cite my sources. What sources have I not cited, Jim? Tell me what source I haven't cited. He just keeps calling. I'll have to block his number, and I don't want to do that. 6 vessels attacked in the Gulf. Strait of Hormuz as war puts merchant ships on the front lines. What is this? This is March 11th. Explosive-laden Iranian boats appear to have attacked 2 fuel tankers in Iraqi waters, setting them ablaze and killing 1 crew member on Wednesday after projectiles struck 4 vessels in Gulf waters, said port maritime security risk firms. The latest attacks on ships linked to the U.S. and Europe mark an escalation in the conflict between Iran and U.S.-Israeli forces, raising the number of ships struck in the region since fighting began to at least 16. Oh, you're back. Shipping in the Gulf and along the narrow Strait of Hormuz, which carries around a fifth of the world's oil, has come to a near standstill since the U.S. and Israel began strikes on Iran. So did we win? Or are ships still being struck in the strait? Which one is it? Most people say we won. Yes, I did an accent on Iran. Suck it up. My friend's name is Ari, and I say it like that too. I'm so sorry. Again, I apologize to your partners that you cannot roll your R, and so you cannot give them the peak of satisfaction. I apologize that you suck at not being able to roll your R's. Your tongue doesn't get the workouts. That's sad. But even then, he did go to Kentucky, and he said that the war was over, and he didn't really get a lot of response because the people are like, what?
Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
Where do you hear how quiet they are?
Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
It's not over. And this is exactly what we said he's going to do. He's just going to declare victory, walk away, and we've left a mess. That's what the fuck's going to happen.
That's all he knows how to do is just leave a mess.
Jim Corbett, most people source. That's Donald Trump said that. Donald Trump said most people say we won. So I would like Donald Trump's source on most people. What source have I not given, Jim? That's what you were supposed to be finding. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yeah, I'm 50 years old. I'm from Illinois. And yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm kind of iffy now.
What changed for you?
A little conspiracy theories about him turning Jewish or
Sure. Okay, so I am going to stay on a little longer, guys. I know that I usually get off at 12 my time. I am going to go on a little longer because I did want to get to these. I have 7 clips on some immigration stuff that I did want to get to. So we are going to get to that. Absolutely not. I don't know why you would think that you could call again with your anti-Semitism.
People are dumb.
Meanwhile, this is happening in Detroit.
At Temple, Israel, and they say a major scene was reported there. If you're familiar with the area, this is located on Walnut Lake Road. So a live look there thanks to our Fox.
Not Detroit, I meant Michigan in my head. I think Michigan, Detroit.
To Detroit helicopter, as we see that there is some smoke there from a building, and that seems to be where the helicopter is concentrating this live look. It's a little hard to tell, but we do see that emergency responders are surrounding this building. According to Fox 2 Detroit, there is a threat underway at Temple, Israel there in Michigan.
So I'm not going to listen to fucking anti-Semitism. I'm just not going to do it. All right, we're going to move to immigration real quick. Speaking of, I'm going to bring up this article that Olive sent me. Thank you for this. Before we get into it, because, don't know if anybody knows, but we are technically in a government shutdown right now. Partial government shutdown. Because we are not funding DHS. Because of that, because the Democrats would like stipulations, regulations, and restrictions on what DHS is able to do in their capacity. Republicans don't want that at all. But the Democrats have come to the table and said, hey, we will fund FEMA. We will fund the TSA, so the airports. We will fund all of these other things. Let's come to a separate funding bill for those things. Republicans said, nah. Republicans blocked Democratic bill to fund DHS agencies other than ICE and CBP. Senate Democrats on Wednesday seemingly sought to turn the tables on Republicans, asking for unanimous consent to pass a bill to fund agencies within the Department of Homeland Security that do not conduct immigration enforcement. Senator Patty Murray, the top Democrat on the Senate Appropriations Committee, asked for unanimous consent for a measure to fund the Transportation Security Administration, Federal Emergency Management Agency, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, U.S. Coast Guard, and other agencies. It would not cover Immigration and Customs Enforcement or Customs and Border Protection. Now, why won't they do this deal? Well, Senator Katie Britt, who objected from Alabama, said, we have political games being played by our Democratic colleagues instead of putting the people of this nation first. Mr. President, what we've just seen put forth by the senator from Washington would effectively defund our law enforcement officers that are charged with keeping Americans safe. She added, look, we're not going back to the era of defund the police. We're not doing it. The thing is what they're saying is, hey, we will fund these other agencies now, right now, today. We'll fund them. But ICE and CBP, we will come to the table to fund. They're not saying they're not going to fund them. They're saying they're not going to fund them in their current state. You need to come to the table. We need to put restrictions on them. They need to be able to be identified not wearing masks so that people can face the fucking people who are harming them in the streets. They need to have more oversight over what is happening. 4 U.S. citizens are dead, not to mention the myriad of immigrants that are dying in ICE custody. We need restrictions on this. That's what the Democrats are saying, and the Republicans are crying.
There's 5 citizens that are dead.
5 now?
It's been 5, actually. It's just reports coming out late.
I was like Keith Porter, Alex Preddy, Renee Nicole Good, and I can't remember her name, but the woman who was hit during the vehicle chase. I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, Lisa Davis, I want to say. And then there's the kid, the 23-year-old that was killed by an HSI officer in March of last year.
Oh, yes. You're right. 5. I apologize.
Oh, I did have her name right. Thank God.
Thank you, guys. Linda Davis.
I said Lisa. My bad. Linda. I was really close. Okay, Linda.
Listen, Linda.
That's what it is. Thank you.
All right. Murray responded to Britt's assertion. Now, some on the other side are claiming that the bill I just offered would defund customs or Homeland Security investigations. That, too, is absurd. All the bill I just offered does is fund the rest of DHS while talks continue on ICE and Border Patrol. And the simple fact is Republicans have already funded these agencies when they gave them more money than most militaries, by the way, in their big, ugly bill. That's the Big, Beautiful Bill Act is what she's talking about. Republicans have been ramping up pressure on Democrats to end the DHS shutdown, which is in its 4th week, accusing the minority party of endangering Americans by refusing to fund the department, just as the Iran conflict is heightening threats to the homeland and of cutting off law enforcement resources that help prevent dangerous drugs from entering the U.S. I saw the headline on it. I did not put that into the outline, but the California is well aware that they have been made aware of threats, possibly of drone strikes coming from Iran and their allies towards the West Coast in California because of this conflict, this war of choice that Donald Trump decided to do.
I'm just going to point this out. There are much more influential or consequential targets that are closer to Iran.
Yeah, also that.
That would be easier for them to get ships to than fucking California.
Yeah, California wouldn't be the first. And so on that note, let's get a lovely reminder of the person that they are going to have to confirm. He has to be confirmed. He doesn't just get the job. I know that Donald Trump, you guys think that he anoints people like the divine, but he does not. To replace Kristi Noem, who I'm still going to say she's fired, even though they moved her. Right, they moved her into the shadows. They are going to try and replace her with Mark Wayne Mullen. This is what Mark Wayne Mullen had to say about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's going to repeat the same dumb fuckery shit that you guys all say when in regards to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, because you've never read the Constitution and you've never read the SCOTUS cases and you're not smart, but he's going to say it. Here we go.
The Trump administration has admitted this guy in Maryland, illegal immigrant, alleged gang member, determined gang member, or likely gang member by a court at one point, was deported. But it was against a court order, Senator, because there was a temporary protective status on this guy claiming asylum in El Salvador, or from El Salvador, and that's where he's deported to. So the rebuttal is, hey, you violated a court order. Trump administration admits an error. But what do you think we should be concerned about when it comes to the implementation of these deportations? Like, are we doing it to minimize these errors?
Yeah, first of all, I don't think a district court judge should have the authority to put an injunction nationwide against the president of the United States.
Well, and SCOTUS ruled that way, that they can't, which means SCOTUS is very, very busy.
I don't think that's what a district court was designed for. They are designed to look after their own district. So for them to go beyond that is beyond my comprehension. Now, I'm not an attorney. I paid.
Now, this is the part I want you to listen to.
A lot of attorneys. I'm not an attorney. But when you're a guest inside the United States, you don't have the same due process, if you want to say, as an American citizen or even an NPR or LPR, a legal permanent residence.
Oh, where in the Constitution does it say that? Still waiting for you guys to cite it for me. Where in the Constitution? I don't care about the Federalist Papers. Yes, the Federalist Papers exist. We argue them all the time. You guys actually hate the Federalist Papers because of their stance on 2A. But you can read the Federalist Papers all you want. What does the Constitution say? Does the Constitution say anywhere that a guest or an illegal alien, Rob is raging somewhere, doesn't have the same due process rights. Waiting for it. You guys still haven't been able to cite it to me.
Also, I sent you. I put it in the live chat. The Times has a running list of people that have been killed or wounded by Department of Homeland Security agents.
Oh, thank you.
2 of them were undocumented immigrants out of the people killed, but yeah.
Let's find.
Let me rephrase. The first one that was killed was actually killed on January 20th, 2025, and he was an immigrant from Canada. I can't remember for sure what his documentation status was, but I don't think it was illegal.
Have that damn. So again, can you guys cite it for me? Because it says persons, meaning all persons in the United States have due process.
But that doesn't apply to them.
I know.
That doesn't go to them. I'm kidding. It's Plyer v. Doe.
When the Constitution, Carpenter says, when the Constitution was written, there wasn't an illegal alien issue. That's a ridiculous question. Are you sure?
Interesting. Again, I'll refer
sure?
to the Supreme Court case called Plyer v. Doe. It even goes so far as to specify what under the jurisdiction of or within the jurisdiction of the United States of America means.
SZ-Man says, no, only citizens have due process. You guys have yet to been able to prove this to me, and I don't know how many fucking times I've had to bring this fucking piece of paper up. Constitution annotated, Amendment 5623, removal of aliens who have entered the United States. They cite the Fifth Amendment, and then they cite the Supreme Court, excuse me, the Supreme Court cases on this. Try again. You guys are bad at this. Mark Wayne Mullen, who's now, if he gets confirmed, will be in charge of that, is also bad at this. All right, we're going to go to some of these clips. I want to finish out immigration today with Beer, B-I-E-R, Beer, he is the head of the immigration, department of Cato. Cato is a relatively right-wing centrist libertarian think tank. They run a lot of statistics. He's specifically in charge of immigration, and he is going to be talking to you about DHS's own statistics and own numbers about the fact that they're not detaining criminals.
650,000 people that are at large in America have committed crimes.
Oh, not this one. So we're going to get into that in a second. What he's talking about. So Johnson here is going to be talking about the amount of murderers and rapists that are immigrants or illegal immigrants in the country. And he's going to be crying, they're in this country and nobody's found them. And Beer's going to say, that's not true. They've been detained, just not by DHS. They've been detained by the judicial system.
650,000 people.
Huh?
I was going to say, before you play that, I was going to ask, like, if it's an unsolved murder, right? How do you know who was committed by?
Exactly. Where'd he get these numbers of murderers and rapists from? Oh, probably from their arrests. That would probably be from where he got it from.
650,000 people that are at large in America have committed crimes. 15,000 murderers, 20,000 rapists. Ms. Beer, you're shaking your head.
They're not at large. The murderers are in prison. They're in prison where they should be.
They're not detained.
Yes, again, they're detained by the state. They're not detained by ICE. They're in prisons ready to be deported. Now, I don't...
Ms. Vaughn,
they wouldn't be at large. If you know where you're getting your numbers from, they would not be at large. You can be at large without being arrested. Duh. That's what at large is. But if you have the numbers for them, they're not at large. You need to, littlest Jeffrey, I see why you're the littlest. You need to focus. Gabe, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. My mom fell and farted and then passed out. Normally I wouldn't care, but today is Sloppy Joe from the back Thursdays and I need it. That's disgusting. Thanks for the super chat, though. All right, let's keep going with Cato. We're going to get to... Here's the one about the DHS percentages being cited and how they're not a threat. And I have a continuation of this video. I have to find the exact part because it repeats some of this video in the continuation, but we'll do this one first.
Entered into the FBI federal database, fingerprints, arrest record, what that person's being detained for, how long they're being sentenced. Federal government has all that information.
Exactly, yes. So they could go and get those individuals anytime they want. And in this case in Virginia, for example, the Laken-Riley Act, which they all supported, directed the Department of Homeland Security to get those people. And instead of getting those people, they're out on the streets profiling random Hispanic workers going to their jobs. So it's a total misdirection to blame the county when the Department of Homeland Security isn't even following the law that they passed.
Why not? Since they could get that warrant and pick up those individuals who have created violent crimes.
Because the White House has created an arrest quota. That's the only metric for success for them. How many arrests can you make today? And the fastest way to make arrests is indiscriminate raids, indiscriminate profiling of people on the street. That's what's led to this huge jump in the number of people and the, frankly, chaos that we're seeing in cities across the country.
So there was a chart in your longer written testimony showing that only 5% of the individuals booked by ICE have ever had a violent criminal conviction.
Yeah, and not only that, if you look at my written testimony as well, I talk about how the Department of Homeland Security has its own internal threat assessment that they assign to each individual who comes into their custody. And those people have to prioritize. They actually have a mandate. They can't be all political. They have to figure out who is actually a threat.
Sorry, y'all need to figure out how to use spell check on YouTube. You blood smoke up people's assets. Uh-huh. You're doing great, sweetie.
And of those people, only 10% received the highest threat level, and 70% were deemed by the Department of Homeland Security to not be a threat at all.
Look, this is per Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE initial bookends by criminality. And MSC fiscal year 2025 year to date, November 15th, 2025. This is their fucking numbers. This is ICE's numbers. ICE bookends into custody by most serious conviction. No conviction as in not threat, 73%. 73%. That's their numbers. So you're not catching the worst of the worst. None of that's happening. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hello?
Hi, can I get your age, your state, and who you voted for?
I'm 35, Texas, voted for Trump.
Okay, why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, you know, whenever I seen all the illegal immigration, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't think very much about it. But I did a simple little exercise, and if you get on your local, county jail website,
sure,
it's pretty easy to pull up pictures of people that you would consider maybe in the illegal realm, and you can even see whenever people are getting detained by
how would you
ICE.
consider them maybe in the illegal realm? What does that mean?
Well, you know, you're looking at 1,000 pictures, so you just kind of
so you're just racially profiling brown people.
That's not racially profiling.
It is. How would you be able to tell that they're illegal just by looking at them?
Well, you can see the charge right next to their name.
And the charge is what?
It's normally a
local authorities do not charge for you being here illegally because that is a civil infraction that is done by the federal government.
Did I say that?
Did I say that? Well, then again, what charge would prove that they're illegal?
I was answering your question.
Go ahead and try again.
All right. So there is no charge to prove that they're illegal.
Exactly.
But you can get on the county website and you can see the photos of the people and you can correlate the photos of the people and you can see who is being taken by ICE from states that are cooperating with ICE. And if you tally up...
You don't get that from the local county, though.
Absolutely. It's on my local jail county website.
Your local jail county website shows people who have been then taken by ICE.
It shows who is being forwarded to ICE.
Where does it show you that on the local county website?
Well, whenever they go through the initial booking, it just lists their charge. But then whenever they have to go to the very first hearing, which has to prove probable cause, after they go through their very first hearing of probable cause, you can see who has been forwarded to ICE. And almost every single
Are you
person
saying they
within
have
my
an
local
ICE hold? They have an ICE hold on them? Is that what you're saying?
I just know they're forwarding them to ICE.
How do you know that?
It has it literally listed as like the charges are coming in.
What's your county jail website? I want to see it.
It's Montgomery County, and that's in Texas. It's like northern Houston. They're not very. They're not very.
So what's the website name that I can look this up on?
I guess type in Montgomery County Jail website. I just know I have several links
Montgomery
of places
County
that I
Jail.
visit regularly.
Let's see. We have mctexassheriff.org. Is it that one maybe?
Well, I mean, I'm on the phone and I can't really look up the link, but
You can, because you can put me. It's very possible for you to put me on speaker and then to look it up. That website, the jail roster, is currently under
just tell me, have you ever done
maintenance.
this? Have you ever done this? Have you ever
Well,
done
I
this?
don't-
Or are you just assuming that everyone's racially profiling people because
You didn't start out well by
you
saying.
want
If
to
you would have
a-
started by saying they have an
you
ICE
can't
hold.
look at the pictures, woman. You can't look at the pictures.
If you would have started out, I know, sweetie, you're going to crash out now. It's okay. If you would have started the conversation out by saying, if you would have started the conversation out by saying that they had ICE holds on them, which even so, ICE holds don't necessarily prove that they're illegal because there are multiple points of status that ICE would deal with within having an ICE hold, so it doesn't prove that they're illegal. What you started with is I can see their faces and their charges, right? That's what you started with. I can see their faces and their charges.
Okay,
You did not
sir.
say they have an ICE hold.
Okay,
if you would have
sir,
said they had an
can-
ICE
can-
hold,
can you tell
we
when
then
someone's a
could have
meth
talked
addict?
about the
Can you
fact
tell when
that
someone's a
even
meth addict?
having
Can you tell
an
when someone's
ICE
a meth addict? Can you
hold,
tell when someone's a drug addict?
Can we-
Can you tell when someone's
Oh
a meth
my
head?
goodness. You should play the little
Can you
sound
do
clip
that?
Eli made for me that I put in your
Can you
profile.
tell
Well, but
when a woman
dang,
is
he won't
pregnant?
hear it, but
Can you do that?
Where'd you put
Can you
it?
tell when
In
someone's
live chat?
poor? Can you tell?
In
Can
live
you tell
chat.
when someone's poor versus someone that's taking care of themselves? So you're trying to tell me that I?
Thank you, Jedi, by the way, for the swan as he crashed the. Oh, this one.
you can just play like.
Did I hurt your princess feelings? Saying fuck, fuck, fuck. Did I hurt your princess feelings? Saying fuck. Saying fuck. Did I hurt your princess feelings? Saying fuck, fuck, fuck.
Wild.
Love you, Eli.
But again, I can't. The only thing I can find is a record search right now. Their jail roster is not working. Their jail roster website, is not working. The Montgomery County Court has a search, but you have to have their name to be able to search. And again, like many have put in the chat, including Cass, it might have an ICE hold, but that does not necessarily prove that they are illegal because you can get held even if you have legal status in this country and you have to go to court. So.
And not even that, just from not having documentation, they could probably put you on an ICE hold because they weren't able to find or prove you that you were a citizen. Because guess what? According to Arizona v. United States 2012 Supreme Court ruling, it is not up to the states to determine somebody's immigration status. That falls solely within the jurisdiction of the federal government. Boom, 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 boom.
All right, we're going to finish this again. You guys are crying. 70% per DHS's own numbers have no criminal record, no conviction.
So how does that match the campaign rhetoric about we're going to go after the worst, which I think 100% of Americans supported the idea that anyone who had created a violent crime should be investigated, should be prosecuted, should be, if convicted and incarcerated, should be deported. But those numbers don't match that.
Great campaign messaging, great messaging for a $200 million ad campaign by the the DHS secretary, not based in reality at all. On day one of this administration, they rescinded all policies that forced ICE to focus on violent offenders and people with criminal convictions.
So they did the exact opposite of what they told the citizens they were going to do during the campaign.
It was a lie, just like it was a lie about all the things they said about Renee Good and Alex Preddy and all the other people that they've killed over the last year.
So that's where I have the continuation of that clip into this next one about officer immunity. I think it is at about 120. So let me start about there.
Citizens they were going to do during the campaign.
It was a lie, just like it was a lie about all the things they said about Renee Good and Alex Preddy and all the other people that they've killed over the last year.
And you recommend, do I have time for the last question? My time has expired. You recommend in your testimony that there be a private right of action when individuals' civil rights are violated. Now, my understanding is that if local police or state police violate your civil rights, you have a cause of action against that. Is that correct?
Yeah, under Title 42, Section 1983, there's a private right of action against state and local, but not against the feds. And this is a critically important issue because right now they're recruiting all these state and local officers into essentially the ICE framework, which gives them immunity against all constitutional violations that they carry out while working in conjunction with the federal government. So we need to expand that to cover federal officers as well to make sure we don't have this immunity creep into every police department in America, which is their goal, including through this bill that we're talking about today.
So when the vice president said...
So what he's saying is we need to have accountability. We need the citizens to be able to hold these officers accountable. We need to be able to do that.
ICE agents have absolute immunity in violating people's civil rights. He was right.
Effectively, yes. Right now, as the law stands.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes.
Right now, they do. They act as if they don't by law, but they kind of do right now. That is an issue. Okay, we're going to go to, I have 3 more clips. They're a little long, but I want to finish them before we get done. I'm sorry I missed it. I know you guys celebrated in the chat, but I missed it. And I'm sorry. And then I had to, crash out chat over here. Thank you guys for hitting 300,000 likes. You guys fucking rocked the likes out of the park. I know that I'm on extra, but you guys hit 100,000 likes before we even hit the top of the hour of my first hour. So you guys have just been rocking the shit out of it. And I'm so fucking proud of you. You are fucking amazing. Thank you guys so much for all the support that you give me to be here every single day. I do appreciate it so much. Max record for this is the most likes I've ever gotten, Jedi. This is the most likes I've ever gotten on a live. So thank you guys so much for that. I do appreciate it. We're going to move on to Senator Kennedy. Now, I know we gave him his flowers a little bit yesterday in regards to him taking accountability for the fact that the U.S. was the one who struck that school, the girls' school in Iran. But this now we have to go against Senator Kennedy because he's a fucking idiot. And we're going to do a whole bunch of bullshit about immigration, bullshit hypotheticals that he comes up with in regards to the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment is again for states' rights, or not the 10th Amendment, excuse me, states' rights versus the Supremacy Clause, right? That you still have to enforce certain things federally, regardless of what your state says. And so he's just going to be a disingenuous prick here. So here we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy.
Secretary Wolf, thank you for your service. Why, in your opinion, do so many, not all, but so many of my Democratic colleagues believe in open borders?
So now what he's going to do, he's going to ask this person, Mr. Wolf, who works within the administration, right? So he's a Trump lackey. He's going to ask him to speculate what Democrats believe about open borders. Now, I would love for you to find me a Democratic politician who has ever said, yes, open borders. Would love for you to find me that. You're not going to be able to find one. But if you could, with factually based information, actual evidence, and not just your feelings, find me a congressman or woman who is a Democrat and has come out and said, yes, open borders. I would love that. Joe Biden never said that. So you tried it. Wolf was the gnome of Trump's first term. Yes, thank you, Rob. Wolf was the Kristi gnome of Trump's first term. So Mr. Kennedy is going to ask Wolf to interpret the Democrat position that they never held of open borders?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's a couple of different fronts. One, it would be they don't believe in immigration law. They don't like enforcement. They don't like removing of individuals. And they believe that.
Interesting. The stats under the Biden administration don't say that. The deportation stats under the Biden administration don't say that from DHS and CBP.
There are some that believe that anyone and everyone should be able to come to the U.S., whether they apply for protections under U.S. law or not. And then there's some probably that would like to see more voters in the U.S. as well.
Ms. Vaughn.
Except that they can't vote. Stop calling me. I'll block your number. Stop calling me. Capitalism got you. You're done. I know that men don't like consent. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Get over it.
Some of my colleagues, for whom I have great respect.
Oh, are we hating Jesus? You disagree with God? Are we doing that? We don't do that.
I love the Lord.
We don't do that.
Believe that the 10th Amendment allows local governments to ignore federal immigration law and implement sanctuary policy. The Supreme Court has ruled that racial quotas represent a pernicious form of racial discrimination. Can local governments ignore that ruling under the 10th Amendment?
Well, the 10th Amendment is about...
Can just answer my question, please, ma'am.
Okay. So he's trying to say, can the 10th Amendment, which gives any powers not delegated to the federal branch, it's states. It's states' rights, states' powers. That's what the 10th Amendment is. So what he's going to do is he's going to come up with these hypotheticals that don't make any sense. He's going to ask about, can they go against? The problem is it's a disingenuous question because, no, of course the states can't go against federal policy. That's not what a sanctuary city does. A sanctuary city, all a sanctuary city is, sanctuary jurisdiction, all that means is that a certain county, local municipality, city does not have to use their local taxpayer resources to help the federal law enforcement. That's it. That's all. They don't have to do that. They're not forced to do that. If they choose to, they can. Again, I've said this before. I am in Colorado. There are multiple areas. Everybody says Colorado is a sanctuary state. No, it's not. There are certain sanctuary cities. Denver is one of them. Aurora is actually not. Denver is one of them. You have areas like Douglas County that are not doing sanctuary policy, right? So they have it where their local law enforcement absolutely does and aids and helps ICE in Colorado. And they're allowed to. What it's saying is they cannot be forced to. So if you have Denver police, they cannot be forced to help ICE. That's all a sanctuary city policy is. Now, what Senator Kennedy is doing is saying that violates, using that as a 10th Amendment right, violates something within the federal government's powers. What does it violate? There is nothing in the Constitution, there is nothing in our current law that requires the law enforcement to help, local law enforcement to help the federal law enforcement. Nothing in there is required. So he's going to create this bullshit hypothetical that she can't answer because it's not a protected thing in the Constitution.
The 10th Amendment is about commandeering, and so it's not really appropriate to this because...
Is the answer yes or no?
It's not appropriate to this. She's right.
Oh, ma'am.
Could you ask me again? Because I don't understand the relevance to... I'm sorry, I don't... Because ICE is not asking
Secretary Wolf,
to do that.
So then he moves on from her, and he's going to ask his little fucking Trump lackey because he wants the answer that he wants.
My question. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments ignore a Supreme Court ruling?
I don't believe they can.
Okay. Women have the right to vote in America by statute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
so now we're going to move into hypotheticals on federal protections. I know you guys are going to get mad because you guys don't want us to be able to vote, but Senator Kennedy's going to talk about it's a nonsensical question, Rob. The protections. We have protections in this country. Thank you to the Constitution for women to be able to vote. He's going to move to a silly hypothetical on that.
By constitutional interpretation, under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments just ignore?
Robert, no, you didn't. You didn't. I wish you would actually look into this. This is why I actually really got heavily involved. I was already doing lives and stuff on TikTok, but I really got involved when it came to the Aurora stuff. I grew up in Aurora. No, that didn't happen. Were there Tren de Aragua members in that apartment complex? Yes. There were also just regular immigrants in that apartment. And the issue was that the landlord of that apartment, who does not located in Colorado, was located in another state, was a fucking slumlord. He had multiple violations against his apartment complex because he was not doing the things he needed to do to make it a livable habitat for these people. Gangs took advantage of that, but they did not overrun it. What he did is the landlord then said it was overrun so that he could claim it condemned and get insurance money out of it and not have to deal with the fact that he was a shitty fucking landlord. You should actually look up Local 9 News. Kyle Clark, we love him. Go ahead and search through the local articles, since you guys only listen to what Trump said. Listen to the local articles about what happened in Aurora, and what the real fucking story behind it were. Look into that. Donald Trump came here and spoke, and he spoke in Aurora only by technicality, for the fact that he was fucking 10 minutes from the airport, and it just technically is Aurora, but it was nowhere near where that actually happened. Please read it. Somebody who lived here and actually followed the fucking stories, read it.
Ignore that and prohibit women from voting.
No.
So what he asked, I'll go back. What he asked is that the 19th Amendment is protected by the Constitution. Can the states, the 10th Amendment, allow the states to override that and not allow women to vote?
Women have the right to vote in America by statute and by constitutional interpretation. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments just ignore that and prohibit women from voting?
No.
Okay. Mr. Duke.
Of course not. Because that's a fucking protection. It is protected. Show me where it is a protected right for local law enforcement to have to help federal law enforcement. Show me where that is a right written into the Constitution. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Chris McClure. I'm 57 years old. I live in North Carolina, and I voted for Donald Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Why are you still supporting Trump?
I'm probably really not. I'm just so disenfranchised with all of it.
What changed for you, if I may ask?
It's just, this is what I believe. I believe that our country is in decline, and it has been for the past, in my opinion, probably 20 years, 25 years.
Sure, but why did your support for Trump start to fall apart?
Because I think the country is in decline, and I don't think it really matters who's the president. I think we're so far gone that it doesn't matter right, left, center. It's just we're so far gone that we will never, and we've not ever been a perfect country, and I don't think there is such a thing. But I remember times when, I lived in Western North Carolina, and I remember, oh my God, you could get out of high school, you could graduate out of high school, and there were so many textile jobs.
Sure.
Furniture, cloth. But when they brought NAFTA, which they called quote unquote fair trade, now our whole Western North Carolina is a tourism-based economy, because what Ross Perot said when they did NAFTA, Ross Perot, and they called him a redneck, stupid hillbilly hick, just like they do me. He said, you're going to hear the sucking sound of jobs leaving the United States. And ever since then...
I will say our manufacturing moved to China way before NAFTA.
No, ma'am.
But we're not going to be...
Not textiles.
It did, absolutely did.
Not in my state.
Maybe not in your state, but for decades it has been moving to China way before NAFTA. I did want to ask you real quick, since you're in North Carolina, who did you vote for governor? Who'd you vote for governor in 2024?
2024. Who did I vote?
Did you vote for Mark Robinson?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
What an idiot.
Yeah, he is. I was just asking.
No.
But the issue is that those jobs are not coming back because our economy has changed. Our economy will never be a manufacturing economy again. We are a consumer economy. We have to move. We have to progress. We have to update.
Right. That's why, and that's why in my opinion, that's why we're in decline.
Sure,
Just my
but
opinion.
we have to find a solution to that, and the solution is not going to be manufacturing coming back. Thank you, Chris. It's a service economy. We are not a manufacturing economy. We will not be that again, but we can still
Well,
try and do better.
What do you think will bring it back, in your opinion?
We won't bring that back, but what we can do is the things that we know we can do.
No, I mean the country back. I'm sorry.
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry.
So if we put funding into actually allowing people to have an access to education, making that easier. Also within healthcare, healthcare needs to be funded a lot better. If we did universal healthcare, we'd be a long way there too. In way of jobs, if we start doing progressive policies in way of moving to greener energy, that will open up jobs in those vicinities instead of focusing on jobs that are dying. We have like the Chips and Science Act under the Biden administration that helps to build our chips here instead of having to get them from Taiwan. All of those things would be beneficial.
Okay. Let me ask you this much.
Sure.
And I understand the education, which I think we have a failed education system in this country. Once again, just my opinion.
Sure, but that's because it's done by the states.
Yeah, that could be
the states set the curriculum.
I agree with that.
Sure.
The problem is, I think there's a lot of things that are taught at school that don't need to be taught.
Like what?
I think. Let me ask you this: core curriculum should be arithmetic, histories, language. We should have a core curriculum.
Sure.
And none of that other bullshit.
What all goes into history? What all goes into history?
Well, you're probably asking the wrong person on that because I didn't. Unfortunately, I was a lazy bum in school and didn't apply myself. One of the worst mistakes I ever
but what I'm
made in
saying
my
is
life.
also science would be a good thing to add in there, but history is going to encompass a myriad of things, right? We talk about the history of the United States. We talk about the history of the British Empire and us breaking from that. You can talk about World War II. You can talk about slavery in this country.
World history, I mean, wouldn't that encompass a lot of, I know, like in the 8th grade, we had North Carolina history. We had a section that based our, but wouldn't you say that would be world history? I mean, that would combine all those things. My point being is, when you talk about green jobs, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. But when you make chips, I'm dumb as a box of rocks.
No, you're not.
I couldn't make it.
You're not dumb.
I couldn't make a chip. I couldn't make a chip. I don't have that. And the reason is because I screwed off in school, and I wasn't able to go get a 4-year education. Everybody in this country is not going to be able to get a 4-year college education.
They could.
So there has to be other options as far as jobs in the country. The technical jobs, that's great. I mean, we have to have that. But we also need jobs where industrial job where you can go in and it used to be this way.
No, I understand
that.
that.
You could go into a textile company.
I understand that, but even
at the very bottom, and you could work up.
But even those jobs, we can't, even if we brought them quote unquote back, these companies are now using automation and AI. Those things are going to be taken over, which is why I am a proponent of UBI, which is Universal Basic Income, to allow people who might not be able to learn the new skills and the new progressive jobs that are going to be coming up, but are being replaced in their factory jobs to still be able to afford to live, because that is going to happen regardless. Automation is going to take over regardless of how many jobs we try to bring back in manufacturing.
Somebody's going to run that automation now, right?
Yeah, and it's not going to take as many people as the factory takes, though. It's not going to take as many people, so there's still going to be people out of a job.
So universal
universal. You're fine. Universal. No, universal. But it's not welfare because we pay into it. It's our money.
Right, but if you don't have people working, I mean,
but you will. You will always have people working.
If I'm wrong, you're saying that automation's going to take over.
For a lot of the manufacturing jobs,
There's going to be less people. Sorry, that's my mom. I have hearing loss, and I talk real loud.
You're okay.
And there's going to be a group of people that are going to be quote unquote, or not quote unquote, but sort of pushed out of a job because of AI.
Yeah.
So they'll all have to receive some kind of welfare or something. I mean, because they're going to be out of a job, right?
Right, but again, the reason I don't call it welfare is there will always be people working because there are specific sectors that are never going to be going anywhere. You're always going to need trade jobs. You're always going to need healthcare, and you are going to have people who, some people won't need UBI because they'll just move jobs. They can learn a new skill and move jobs. But for the people who can't, there should be UBI available so that people can live. I don't like the idea of just saying, well, suck it up. I guess you don't get paid anymore, so you can't afford food.
Where does
I don't
that
like
money
that.
come from? Where
Taxes.
does the UBI come from?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Yes.
Okay, but you're going to have less people working.
No, you tax the rich appropriately. Stop letting the rich get away with all the money.
Okay. So if you tax the rich and they decide, okay, I'm about to have had enough of this, I'm closing my company.
How many companies have left or closed when we did that?
Because of taxes? I don't know.
Do you remember? Do you know
California and do some research?
No. Do you know anything? Do you know anything about the baby boom era right after the end of World War II?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
Sure. So the effective rate on the top % of people was about 80% tax rate. They were getting taxed 80% of their wealth, and that is why we saw such a boom in the middle class, because that money was actually going towards programs to build houses and for people to get cars and people to have jobs. There was a huge boom because of that. And they didn't leave. They didn't close down their businesses. They didn't leave. They were here. Why? Because they need us. They need us to consume.
Well, I guess then what I'm seeing is wrong then. When I'm seeing a mass, companies leaving, from everything from grocery stores, manufacturers.
Who left?
And a lot of this is happening in blue states.
California is the 4th largest economy in the world.
And not for long.
Sure. Okay.
Not for long.
I am going to finish my outline. I do appreciate you being civil and talking to me civil. And you are welcome to call in any time that you would like to speak. But I am already past my time and I would really like to finish my outline. But I do appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, I am going to turn the phone lines off. YouTube, don't cry. I'm going to turn the phone lines off so that I can finish this outline and get through these clips. So again, here we go with Kennedy's insane hypotheticals on the 10th Amendment.
You worked for President Biden and Vice President Harris, didn't you?
Yes.
And I listened carefully to your testimony today. You offered the opinion that the One Big Beautiful Bill is terrible in part because it will cause deficits. Is that right?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that the profligacy of President Biden caused 9%?
By the way, he uses this really fancy word. RTP played this clip yesterday and we had to look it up. Profligacy. It's a real word. It actually is. I'm going to spell it wrong and it's going to have to correct me. Profligacy refers to reckless, extravagance, excessive spending, or shameless immoral behavior. So he's going to be talking about the fact that they think that Biden spent recklessly. So he uses profligacy. He is going to incorrectly use a word later, which is really fun, from a man who said profligacy, which is a word I'd never heard of before. But here we go.
% inflation in America?
No.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden...
So now he's going to come up with these ridiculous facts. Is it a fact?
Profligacy of President Biden caused 9% inflation in America?
No.
And that's not true. Spending was some of it. It was also the supply chain. Created the inflation rate that you guys lived and died in June of 2022.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden had discovered life on Mars when he was president, he would have immediately sent it money?
What? That's a real question that was asked in the Senate.
President Biden, part because it will call it the profligacy.
Damn it, I went too far.
9% inflation in America.
I want to hear that question again.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden had discovered life on Mars when he was president, he would have immediately sent it money?
I don't believe so.
Oh, yeah.
What? Also, by the way, even if we had found life on Mars, what would Martians do with money? What would Martians do with money? Yeah, the aide was like, okay.
Don't. Okay.
He looked down.
Well,
He had to look down.
I appreciate your newly found fiscal conservatism. Mr. Beer.
But even so, what he's complaining about is the supposed reckless spending from Biden. The thing is, Senator Kennedy, sir, you have been a senator for a long time, which means you have been in Congress for a long time. Who decides when we spend money? Who's in charge of that? Congress. Congress is in charge of that. So this profligacy, this fancy word, this money that you have sent to other countries in aid, this money that you have approved, bipartisanly approved under the Biden administration, you were included on, Senator Kennedy, because that's what Congress does. So if they were to send money to life on Mars, apparently USD works on Mars, that would be because Congress did it. Cool. We'll continue.
You seem to be a very smart guy, and you seem to be a nice enough guy.
Thank you, Senator. You seem smart as well.
My God.
Don't. Don't
that was the chairman, not me.
Don't you think your hyperbolic statements undermine your credibility?
What hyperbolic statement did I make?
On February the 11th, 2026, you posted on Bluesky.
That's what it was.
Oh,
he can say profligacy, but he can't say blue sky.
What?
He can say profligacy, but he can't say blue sky on Bluesky.
You posted on Bluesky.
I'm a jump.
Quote, my words, or your words, not mine. The Democrats' video telling service members to ignore illegal orders didn't go far enough. They should have also urged them to refuse unethical orders, whether illegal or not.
Well, to be fair, please play it one more time, sure. To be fair, what he is citing now is a blue sky post, a Bluesky post from the man in charge of the immigration section of Cato, Beer, using his First Amendment to say that what the Democrats said didn't go far enough. But guess what? That's his right to fucking do so, because the First Amendment exists. Let me go find it.
Bluesky.
Quote.
Oh, damn it. Hold on.
6. You posted on Bluesky.
I'm a jump. I'm gonna jump.
Quote, my words, or your words, not mine. The Democrats' bid to ignore illegal orders didn't go far enough. They should have also urged them to refuse unethical orders, whether illegal or not. There are many things deemed legal that are still obviously unethical, and everyone should hold themselves to this higher law.
That's true. That's true. As much as I will, and I will keep doing so, defending the Constitution and the law until it gets changed, slavery used to be legal. It was unethical, but it was legal. He's not wrong. It's true.
End quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe you did. Do you disagree with it? You think people should do unethical things in their capacity?
On December the 31st of 2025.
It is still legal. You are correct. It's still legal. Never forget the 13th Amendment. It's still legal.
You posted in front of God.
But wait.
Do
you disagree with what
let
I
me
said?
finish my question.
I'm
You
sorry.
answered, sir.
Sure.
In front of God and country. You said, quote, they, referring to Republicans, think they can troll their way into us accepting ethnic cleansing. End quote. Your words, not mine. Did I read that correctly?
That was in regard to a Department of Homeland Security post about advocating 100 million deportations. That is what DHS has tweeted from their own account. 100 million deportations would be ethnic cleansing.
Truth hurts, doesn't it? He's responding. I'm going to sneeze again. I can feel it. He's responding to a post from DHS about deporting 100 million immigrants. We don't have 100 million immigrants in our country. And even if we did, it's fucking Nazi rhetoric. It's fucking Nazi rhetoric to pick a specific subset, ethnicity of people, and say you were going to get rid of all of them. So where's the hyperbole?
You would be removing 1/3 of the country. So yes, there are people within the Department of Homeland Security.
And you don't think this is hyperbole? Give me 30 more seconds.
I think advocating 100 million deportations is
I'm having fun here,
ethnic
Mr. Chairman.
cleansing.
On February
Yes.
5th, you quoted you said the following on Bluesky.
Your time's up.
He said it again. He said Bluesky again.
These are all good, but there's no enforcement mechanism. I'm sorry.
Trademark, that's the worst part, is that Kennedy thinks he's fucking eating. He thinks he is like slaying the fuck out of this when he is getting ate the fuck up for being the old man he is.
Let me try a better one. On March 2nd, you said, quote, if you rule against Trump's population purge agenda, no hyperbole there, the nativists will name you, threaten you, and come after you. These judges are much braver than the ICE agents who hide behind masks while violating the Constitution.
They are much braver. They put their names on their rulings and they stand behind their constitutional rulings. When I talk about population purge, I'm talking about the fact that they're trying to deport U.S.-born citizens, people born here. They are trying to deport them as well. So it's not a mass deportation agenda. It is also an agenda intended to reduce the population of the United States, including U.S.-born people. So these are not hyperbolic statements. I appreciate.
And not. Because why? We have congressmen. We talked about it fucking yesterday. I didn't even get to him. But we have Randy Fine, who is a fucking congressperson, who literally came out in an interview and said that Mamdani, who was fucking born here, Zoran Mamdani, should be stripped of his U.S. citizenship and deported. It's absolutely true. The GOP and the Republicans within this administration, within this Congress, absolutely just want to get rid of a certain subset group of fucking people.
You're reading my account. I appreciate.
Here's the good news. What planet did you just? Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman. What planet did you just parachute in from?
No. Hey guys.
Mars, because that's where we sent money, Kennedy. Obviously, I parachuted from Mars.
You trigger my gag reflex, Mr. Beaver.
So we got a process here, and it's good to know you don't have an agenda, Senator King.
Mr. Chair, thanks for doing this. And Sheriff, welcome. I've got a Virginian at the table. That's why I wanted to come. My sheriff in his testimony said.
So then Kane starts in. Graham was being actually kind of funny in that. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Oh, that was that one. Okay, and then I just have one more just on them discussing how immigrants help reduce the deficit. Because, you know, you guys and your money. So we're going to go over this one, and then that'll be it for me today, guys. I appreciate you sticking with me this long. I know I'm not usually on this long, but I do appreciate it.
Mr. Beer, thank you for emphasizing the big lie that what the Trump administration is doing is going after the worst of the worst. As Senator Merkley pointed out, and as you've shown, that's just not true. I mean, nobody wants people who are here illegally committing violent crimes. But the overwhelming majority of people who are in detention right now, by ICE's own admission, pose no risk to public safety. Is that right?
That's right. Over 70% were given no threat level at all. They could be released right now without a threat to the public.
Yeah. So this is just such a big lie. I mean, that's what we're seeing playing out in this forum and out of the White House from people like Stephen Miller and the President of the United States. Could you talk about another big lie? We do know that the so-called big, beautiful bill, as Republicans called it, increased the debt massively, like over $4 trillion, right? They gave tax cuts to billionaires permanently. They cut health programs. They cut food safety, food programs. They had a walloping increase for ICE, like 7 times its regular budget. And at the same time, we hear people like Stevie Miller and others claiming that it's actually immigrants who are the cause of increasing our deficits and debt. In fact, they've said that immigration is the cause of the growing national debt, and immigrants take more from the country than they contribute. Now, Mr. Beer, you've looked at this question very closely. Could you just respond to what I think is the second big lie?
Yeah, over the last 30 years, we looked at all the government budgets, federal, state, and local combined. Immigrants reduced deficits by $14.5 trillion, which is about a third of all of the total deficits.
$14.5 trillion. That's what they reduce the deficit by being here. $14.5 trillion. Where's the net negative that you guys always talk about? Or is it just the fact that you don't like brown people? I can say what I want, it doesn't mean it's true. No, David Beer does the studies. They do the studies. Don't believe what I say. Don't believe what David Beer says. Look it up. Look up Cato Institute. Over 40 years. Over 40 years, it will reduce the deficit by $14.5 trillion. Thank you, Audrey. Look it up. They will cite their sources in the study. Look up Cato Institute. Immigrants reduce deficit by $14.5 trillion over 40 years. I'm sure you will find it. If you need, I will bring it up tomorrow. We can start the fucking show with it. It will cite the sources for you. You just don't believe it because you're a bigot. And you hate brown people, that's it.
During that period of time. And it's easy to understand why, because they work at 12 percentage points higher than the national average. They use less benefits because they're subject to constraints, unique barriers to applying for those benefits, in particular Social Security and Medicare, where those are by far our largest programs, and they're not eligible for those at all if they're here in the country illegally.
They're not of it. They don't get federal benefits. There's the other one. Remember that. They don't get federal benefits. Buck around and find out, says if it's true, why don't they do this in their country? Because they don't have the same opportunities in their country as they do here, you fucking nitwit.
Or if they came legally and they don't have a sufficient work history to qualify. So you have clear reasons for believing that they are reducing the deficits and debt. They are a benefit to this country, and we need more people who are going to contribute in the future as our population ages.
We need immigrants. That's just the facts. And you guys can hate it, but you guys can't find me something that says fucking different. So sorry about that. You can keep crying about it if you want to. Are you going live, my love?
Yes, I will. And as before I go live, y'all haven't touched my goal at all. I'm so happy.
God. I told you. I told you guys.
We're able to complete Monica's, but
do the thing.
I mean, maybe we'll see how it goes. But I have new things to play with, and if it doesn't go well, we're gonna test, troubleshoot shit. I'm not gonna add more things yet, but
but we will work through it.
All right, I'll see you in a minute.
See you in a minute. Love you. Blue, yeah, isn't the American dream y'all love so much? Anybody can come here and be somebody, unless you're brown. That is the way that works. But thank you guys. I do appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate all your support. We are going to go raid Olive, so Olive's going to go set up and go live. Thank you guys for sticking with me for an extra hour. It's been like that. Recently, I've had to stay on, or wanted to stay on, even if I get off an extra hour, because I just haven't been able to finish my outlines. There's been so much, but I want to start getting through it. So if that means I have to stay on, I have to stay on. I'll eat lunch now after I get off. So, but thank you. So thank you, Juicy Juice Godfrey. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Terrell, or is it Terrell? I apologize if I said it wrong. Thank you, Daryl, again. Thank you, Jason. Let me go through this one. I always like to say my thank yous. Thank you, L. Thank you, Chicky, for my trim job. Thank you, Tanner. Thank you, Trademarked. Thank you, XM. And thank you, Jedi, as well. Thank you guys so much for your support today. W. Blueski. Thank you guys for all of your support. It really means so much to me. You guys make it a pleasant experience, because we know that the YouTube chat and the callers make it a horrible experience as they crash the fuck out. So thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I will be back tomorrow, Friday. It'll be Friday. Yay! Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. Hopefully we can get through my outline in 2 hours tomorrow. If not, whatever. Trim, links in bio. But we're going to go rate Olive. So go support Olive, guys. You guys knocked the fuck out of my goal. Let's work on hers. I know we can. It's only 50. So let's make sure we are supporting Olive when we get in there. Do all of the tappity taps for me. Thank you guys for hitting the fucking like goal the way that you did. 330,000 likes. Wow, fucking insane. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th / you are correct. I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's go rate Olive. Bye.